There are probably rules on when to move up to a booster seat, aren't there?
Rear facing, forward facing? I think I have it right.
Car crashes are a leading killer of children 1 to 13. Are your children in the right car seat for their age and size? Don't think you know. Know you know. Go to safercar.gov/the-right-seat.
I know my child's in the right car seat, or else I wouldn't get in the driver's seat.
Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
You don't usually get a stock tip from a 16-year-old, but I'm here to tell you about a different kind of stock. It's called Better Futures, a stock for social change that's not about making money. Instead, you invest to help students like me go to college. This is beyond a simple donation. It's the opportunity for America to invest in its kids and take an active stake in the future of the country. The return on your investment isn't money. What you get back is knowing you protected our potential. So one day, that potential can grow up to become surgeons and architects, executives and engineers, people who can change the future just by being a part of it. My name is Alicia, and I'm your dividend.
Invest in better futures with UNCF. Visit uncf.org/invest. A mind is a terrible thing to waste, but a wonderful thing to invest in. A public service announcement brought to you by UNCF and the Ad Council.
It's the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
The New York Mets lost both star closer EDWIN DIAZ and star first baseman PETE Alonso to free agency during this week's winter meetings. In what fans and New York media are calling an absolute disaster, apparently Uncle Stevie's money is no longer good enough, if David Stearns is even offering it. What will Stearns and the Amazons do to stop the bleeding? And will it be enough? A bizarre developing story out of Michigan as Wolverines head coach Sherrone Moore has been fired and arrested by police for apparently having an inappropriate relationship that's turned ugly with a staffer that's so bad that details are only just coming out now. The sanctioned and embattled program takes another big hit, only 2 seasons removed from a national championship win. Can they survive yet another scandal, one that likely we only know the tip of the iceberg about? And before we crack a 6-pack with Speedy and make some Week 15 NFL picks, we will dive deep on the quarterback catastrophe in Indy and the return of 44-year-old Phillip Rivers to the Colts, as their once promising playoff hopes are now on life support here on yet another all gas, no brakes, wheeling and dealing, styling and profiling, live Thursday night edition of Jabba and the Mouth.
Give you a significant. They're going to have a ton of money to spend. Why not put it in one of the top 3 offensive players in the league? We're going to be looking at Aaron Judge and saying that he can't win the big game. Michael Jordan said, I played 82 games. You don't see LeBron doing that.
This is a game where you got to go perform.
I told you, Giant fans, and Saquon Barkley, at this point, I'm gonna fight them all. A 7-nation army couldn't hold me back. They're gonna rip it off. Taking time. See, whatever you want about Patrick Mahomes, he's the best quarterback in the NFL. Really? And I'm talking to myself at night because I can't forget. Back and forth through my mind behind a cigarette. And the nation's coming from my eyes. Let it
Let's do it. You're listening to Jabba and the Mouth.
631 672 3108 is the number to call. You're listening to a new show of Jabba and the Mouth. You know who I am. My name is Errol Marks. My co-host, Jabba Chamberlain and Speedy Petey. Go to our website at www.worldwidesportsradio.com. Check out all our shows throughout the week, including Jabba and the Mouth every single Mondays and Wednesdays at 7:30 p.m. All you have to do to tune in and check out our local listings for all our shows is go to our website at www.worldwidesportsradio.com. It has been a crazy, crazy week, and it's been on and off. We had a little bit of rain. We're supposed to get a lot of snow this weekend on Sunday and Monday. Into Monday, we could be hit with 5 to 7 inches of snow, I've been hearing. How is it over there in the one and only Nebraska?
We're actually it was like 50 degrees, but we're gonna get like, I think the high that we're gonna have on the weekend, I think, is 16 on Saturday and like 22 on Sunday. But we have no snow, which I will take. And I don't mind the snow.
Mm-hmm.
It's the ice that gets me. Like when we get that like black ice and stuff like that, gosh, it stinks. And especially like, so we're in like a new development, like in our neighborhood, and we're the last ones to like get anything. So it's like all the construction, like everybody's like coming to work and doing all their stuff, right? So they just like basically mat it down, and then when the actual like people come through with the plows and everything, basically they're just pushing it down.
Right.
And it's bad. It's rough. Like it's literally an ice skating rink. I was going to check the mail, and I don't know how y'all do it in Long Island, but like we have to walk to the mailbox. They don't have them like just out front. Yeah. And I saw my FedEx guy, and he literally slid half a block and stopped like right in front of my driveway. And he goes, "Watch this." He put it in gear and just slid to the next house.
So you guys have mailboxes at like really deep at the end of your driveway. Is that where it is?
Or like in the development, like there's the big box.
See, we don't have long driveways because land is so expensive here in Long Island. It depends on the area. It could be a cul-de-sac. I actually live on a cul-de-sac, so everybody.
Rich part too.
Yeah, very rich. So the houses are ridiculous over here where I'm from, and it's weird because you do have to go to the end of your driveway, but
it sucks. And then too, it's like sometimes too, and like you're walking to it, it's like you got to like do this to make sure you don't bust your ass trying to walk and get the mail.
It does get bad. And we haven't had snow. I think we've had one snowstorm every year, and it doesn't really get that bad. I think last year we had a 10-inch storm, and it pretty much got washed away the next day. So we haven't had back-to-back storms in a while. And this might be the coldest fall we've ever had. I don't remember a fall that we hit in the teens over the last 3 or 4 years. It's crazy. Last year at this time, it was at some points, it was 65, 70 degrees. And now it's like,
but that's the same thing here. Like we're so bipolar too, where it's like, it's going to be 16 and 22 degrees. And then it's going to be 55 on Monday and Tuesday.
That's crazy. I don't think we've been really, I think the hottest, the hottest it's ever been was about 45, 48. It's to me, and I don't think that's cold at all, actually. Speedy.
No, I love it. Me and Carter played catch outside. I don't know if you guys saw it on the Twitter or whatever, but Carter and I, we went outside when it was literally like 40 degrees.
Yeah, I like that weather. It's cool. You can once you sweat, you take off your shirt. You're not going to catch a pneumonia or a cold. But once it gets into the low 30s, into the 20s, if you're not wearing the sweat,
then it's different. Like, but even Cart too. It's like, so Cart comes in, and he had worked out in the morning, and then came home and we played catch, did all of our other stuff, and then all of a sudden he comes in and he like comes upstairs out of his room and he's like, "Dad, I lost an earring," and I'm like, like, "Did you check your room? Did you check anything?" And probably went down the drain. So then, of course, what does Dad do? Dad goes to the store and gets him a freaking new pair of earrings. And I'm like, I'm not getting you nice ones.
Yeah.
Because this is exactly what happens. Like you're gonna lose them, or like something's gonna fall out. And I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. And like, in the holidays, like,
Yeah.
you're a present giver.
Mhm.
Then you like, I can't wait. I suck at it. I suck getting
So you
presents.
so you just give the presents before the holidays even come.
I suck, Errol. I am not good at it. I am not good. I'm in Fish. I love you. Top of the closet. No, because I'm still gonna see it, and then I know when I go in the closet, like I'm going, like it makes me so happy, and I know it's gonna make you guys happy. Like, and I don't need a holiday to give a gift, right?
No.
But it
Well,
just
yourself.
it makes me so happy, and it's like I can't wait, and it's literally I get yelled at all the time. Like, you just need to wait. You need to wait. You need to do this. And like, but I have to tell somebody when I'm super excited about getting somebody a gift, right? Like,
Yeah.
and I have all of you guys as gifts, and I'm like, I'm just waiting, and I'm like I just want to send them.
Really? You got a gift for me? Now you got me. Now you got me wondering what you got me. It's probably
100%.
It's probably a picture of your middle finger and you signed it. Go F yourself.
That's definitely not it.
Otani related. I could see that. I could definitely, or a bobblehead with, he got specially made for me with his middle finger up at me, signed by Java. But it's funny you mentioning earring. I lost my earring the other day, and I had expensive diamond earrings, and I ripped apart my bed. I had Brittany wake up, and I'm like, "Get up! It might be under you. I can't find it. It's a big diamond." And I finally
the
found
same thing, and he wanted those, and I get him like his graduation gift was literally Jacob the jeweler did one, like, so he has a diamond pendant and everything, like a dog tag, and it's all wrapped in diamonds.
I think I have that too. I think I had something made years ago on that, but I don't even know what I did with it.
But I'm like, Cart, no, like, I'm not, like, you're now like in a different realm. Like, I'm not gonna buy you expensive earrings because exactly just what happened.
I agree with you. Earrings, jewelry.
Are you a sunglasses person?
Oh, are you kidding me? So anybody that knows me, I'm a collector. So I actually
we know that.
I have two pairs. I by the way, I bought the Ray-Ban Meta glasses. I have two pairs of those. So everybody.
Okay, hold on. Which ones? And I think Carter's watching the show or not. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But I'm getting him something like that. Did you get the transition lens ones, or did you just
the new ones? Those are the twos. I'm not ready to get the twos because usually when they come out, there's always a flaw in them. So I wanted to wait until next year.
But did you get the Gen 1s or the Gen 2s?
I have two of the Gen 1s. So and I like them. By the way, the Meta glasses, and the only difference between the Meta 2 and the Meta 1s is the new ones, it's 8 hours. You can actually use it for 8 hours before the battery dies. The old ones, it's 4 hours. But really, every single thing that the Meta 1s have, the Meta 2s have, there's very little additional things. Now, there is the display glasses that came out, which are extra expensive. And people, you have to go to the store and pick them up. You can't order them online. They do not sell them online. Unless
you actually have to go in and do all this stuff to like see them, right?
Yep. And
we're not as big as you guys here, obviously in Nebraska. Like, we have like one place that will do that, and like I think when I called about it because I wanted to get them, but it's like, oh, it's probably like 6 months away, and I'm like, I don't. I like getting stuff immediately. Like,
so do I.
Well, and that's the crappy part about now. It's like everybody's ordering everything off Amazon, and I can't get it. Like, usually it's next day, and like I can't get it for like 3 or 4 days, and it makes me mad.
It takes forever, and with the holidays, and again, the Meta 1s, Meta 2s, if you have them, they're awesome. Anybody that's ever tried them, you pretty much tell it what to do, and it tells you the weather, it'll tell you the directions. So tell me how to get here, and it'll tell you word for word how to make a right, make a left. It's fantastic.
Is that what you were trying to show your friend
Yes.
Ray
Yes.
before your party?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I was teaching Ray how to use the meta ones. So
So
I have.
before we get into the show, was there one thing, like, I always remember like a white Christmas. I remember the one time, and it correlated with being a white Christmas for me.
Yes.
And it was, I got a Sega. Was there one like Christmas that you remember where you got something that you didn't expect, or like anything? And everybody can jump in on this.
So it's funny. It's funny. I celebrated Hanukkah and Christmas. So on my father's family, I celebrated Hanukkah, and Hanukkah was like 8 days and 8 nights. You get 8 presents on different days. And Christmas, with my mom's family, you celebrate it one day, your Christmas Eve and Christmas, Christmas morning. So I got a chance to celebrate both holidays. So I had like extra gifts and all this other stuff with the family, but there's not one present that there is one. I always loved Family Matters. So the Urkel doll came out. Remember the Urkel? Got any cheese? Remember that? So that thing came out, and I really wanted the Urkel doll. So my parents got me the Urkel. And that year, those dolls went like hotcakes. Remember what are those, the Furbies or whatever the hell they came out when the Furbies came out? That thing, I remember when the Furbies came out where you couldn't get a Furby. You had to like special order it, and you wouldn't get it for months after the holidays. So that was probably the one present that I always remembered when I got it, because that was the one thing I seriously wanted, and my parents made sure I had it. But there was never. How about you, Speedy? You remember any present?
Well, yeah, probably the most significant one, because I ended up having it for a while, was one of the first PSPs that came out at the time, because there was a kid. I used to be
the handheld PSP.
Yes, the handheld one. There was always one of my friends at this program I used to do was always playing it in the while we were waiting. And it was like a thing that opened at 5 o'clock or something. So I was always watching it play. And Jabba, he was a big Yankees fan too, so he was always playing with the Yankees. If he was playing the MLB The Show game, he played other games too. So I always wanted one of those. And then I had it actually. I actually played it like for a while. I actually built this Madden franchise where I controlled literally everything in it. So I ended up playing it for a long time after that. But I had a year into it.
Spit it out.
A year into it, I put the disc in wrong too. So I had to repair it at GameStop too, and it took a while, and I was so devastated.
With Speedy, if you ask him to say something, he tells a whole story about it. All we asked you is, do you remember a present? We don't care what you did with it, how you used it, and what year you were doing.
I thought Jabba would like the Yankees angle.
But we didn't care. We have a show to do. I really don't care what you did with it. How about you, Poops? Is there a gift that you remember?
Similar to Speedy. I remember, what is it? I had a Nintendo DS. That was when the DSs kind of first came out. I remember having the Super Mario Bros, Mario Party, a bunch of other games, but I was a huge Mario guy, so that was pretty dope. Pretty cool. Getting that for the first time. That was the first time I ever saw those handheld too.
Have you seen the real life like Mario Kart stuff that people are doing?
Yes.
No, real life Mario Kart. Like, are you just talking about making a
the
whole
meta,
life course?
the meta stuff that you can like actually go into the game.
It's nuts.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, they have that. And how about you, Fish? Before we go, I know you're a Hanukkah guy. Is there a present that pops in mind for you, my friend, that you could remember that really stuck out to you when you were a kid?
No, not really. I got the PS1, I think, when it first came out in '97 with the Star Wars game. That was just the coolest thing ever when it first came out. And then there was like a Fifth Element game. If you remember the Fifth Element movie, that game was like pretty fun too. But I just remember like the very beginning of the PlayStation series. I've been a PlayStation guy ever since. I've probably gotten PlayStations like 2 on the holidays. Like we didn't like do the 8 days of presents. My brother and I would just be like, just give us the system and a game, and we're good for the holidays. Just add them all up together. We don't need socks. We don't need clothes. We don't, because it's not the same. It's not Christmas.
I'm still a socks dad. Like I'm still like, I got one for Carter that's literally, it says like the Star Wars thing, and obviously this goes back to you, Errol. And I got it. It says like Luke, I'm your father, whatever. And I got that for Carter for his stocking.
Well, everybody knows I'm a diehard Star Wars fan, and we were talking about what does Nithin look like, and we were talking about an Ewok. So if anybody hasn't seen Star Wars, the Ewoks were. So if you ever see one of these furry little things running around during Comic-Con, and it looks like a weird little thing, it's probably Nithin's favorite.
Errol, actually, I just got a better picture of what Nithin looks like.
Before we go, here we go.
You know, Nithin really is someone who cares, and we know Nithin cares. You know, mostly, you know, about specific people, but you know,
something like
that. Nithin is just one of the most caring people that's ever been. And I just wanted to put it out there that people should know about the caring of Nithin before we got started.
That's so great. That's
so
good.
That's why I didn't have a good one for you. I was busy working.
Speaking of a little bit later at 9 o'clock, we'll be talking to Colts and Broncos former defensive end Darrell Reed will be joining us. And Darrell's been on a show before, and we're very excited to get him on. He's a great interview, and I'm sure he has his take on Phillip Rivers, and we're going to get into that in just a few moments. But it's a lot of baseball today because the New York Mets look like a bunch of fools. The winter meetings that ended Wednesday could not have gone worse for the New York Mets. Before the conference in Orlando was done, they lost both star closer Edwin Diaz and all-star silver slugger first baseman Pete Alonso. ESPN's Jeff Passan reports that the Los Angeles Dodgers have signed Edwin Diaz to a 3-year, $69 million deal. The deal is the largest ever for a closer and was almost $5 million more per year than his previous deal with the New York Mets. Passan added that the Mets never told Diaz that they were signing Devin Williams last week, and that frustrated him. Diaz had a 1.63 ERA, a 0.87 whip, 98 strikeouts, and 28 saves last season. Passan also reports that the Baltimore Orioles have signed Pete Alonso to a 5-year and $155 million deal. The deal is worth $31 million per year, the largest average annual value in Orioles history. ESPN reports that the Mets never even gave Pete Alonso an offer this offseason, simply allowing the polar bear to leave Queens for nothing. Alonso had a .272 batting average, 38 home runs, and 126 RBIs last season for the New York Mets. You know, Met fans are very upset. And who are they pointing fingers at? Are they pointing fingers at David Stearns? Or are they pointing fingers at Uncle Stevie? Uncle Stevie, has a boatload of money. He's the richest owner in professional sports. The guy's got money growing out of his ass. And I believe that. I honestly believe that. Because last year, I think he made $1 billion in his hedge fund. So we all know Uncle Stevie is not going to be shy when it comes to flashing his money and spending his money, because he just gave Juan Soto last year $68 million a year. But the fact here is Pete Alonso, the polar bear, has been the face of the New York Mets. And ever since Jacob deGrom decided to part ways and go to Texas, the Mets haven't had a homegrown player of this magnitude, a guy that really stood for something, a guy that took away his social medias. He didn't want to be a part of the social media market because he wanted to show the Mets that he really, really cared. And he didn't want to get involved in the conversations that were going behind the scenes when the Mets were being a laughingstock of the league. But when you think about it and you understand where the Mets are as an organization, they were promised, the fans were promised 5 years ago when Uncle Stevie took over for the Wilpons, that they're going to be champions, that he will do anything to make this team a champion. And last year, really putting all his money, all his, what do they call it? His shekels into that basket. You would think that this wasn't Hanukkah. This wasn't Christmas. This was all out New York Mets wanting to win a championship. And going into this offseason, everybody said, where do they go? Do they sign Edwin Diaz and do they sign Pete Alonso and add a screwball or a somebody of that magnitude to make this team better? Or maybe even bring in another player like Cody Bellinger to really make this team have the lineup with the depth that they expect to win a championship. They traded Brandon Nimmo. A lot of people like that move. And then when you thought about Edwin Diaz and Pete Alonso, it was almost a shoo-in after they traded Brandon Nimmo. But it wasn't. It wasn't so. And Edwin Diaz, a lot of stories were coming out with the Dodgers that he wanted to play with his brother Alexis. And Alexis obviously came from the Cincinnati organization. He's now, I think he was, if I'm not mistaken, he signed or he was traded with the Dodgers last year. He played for the Dodgers last year. He's there again. And there were conversations that Edwin wanted to go and play with his brother. So a lot of people believe that was one of the things that persuaded him to go play for the Dodgers. But then you hear the story about Devin Williams, that the Mets did not go to Edwin Diaz and tell him that they're going to sign Devin Williams. That could have pissed him off. I don't know what is true and what is not. What I do know right now is the Mets and the organization looks really, really bad because the team as a whole and the Met fans who think that they were all in on this season, that being that this is a strike year. After this year, there could be a strike for baseball. You would think that the Mets are going to go all in to win a championship because we don't know what's going to happen with baseball the year after. But guess what? The Mets lose their star player in Pete Alonso. They lose their star closer. They go to two different organizations. The Orioles, who never spend money at all. As you see, this is the highest contract when it comes to deals per year that the Orioles have ever given a player. Think about it. The Orioles have been around forever. Pete Alonso is the biggest contract they've ever given to a player. And that, to me, tells me that the Mets do not know what they're doing. Because I was talking to a bunch of Met fans, and they were saying, what is it going to get? What's going to get done to get Pete Alonso to sign back with the Mets? And I said $200 million. That's where I see Pete Alonso, because we all know Scott Boras is his agent. And we all know that the Mets are going to do what Pete Alonso and Scott Boras are going to do whatever it takes to get as much money as they possibly can. But when you hear this contract, 5 years, $155 million, and he only made $1 million more than Kyle Schwarber, who took a little bit less after having a season that he had, an MVP season last year, you would have thought that the Mets were all in on a contract like this. This is a slam dunk for the New York Mets. And the Mets just completely wash their hands with Pete Alonso. That quick, the polar bear is gone. Sayonara, rub his belly, wash him out, dry him out. I don't know what the hell the Mets are doing right now. The organization looks completely bare. And now what are the Mets going to do? Are they going to go all in on Cody Bellinger? Is he that much better than Pete Alonso, a homegrown player? Are you going to go all out on Kyle Tucker? Are you going to bet that Kyle Tucker is going to choose the Mets out of all the teams that, including the Dodgers, that are interested in bringing him in, or the Yankees? Why would he go to the Mets? And then the Tarek Skubal thing. Or are the Mets willing to give up all their prospects? Because you know Detroit is going to do whatever it takes to grab whatever they can from the New York Mets to get this deal done. And are they going to overpay to get Tarek? It doesn't make any. The Mets are in a bad spot right now. And the Yankees, with Hal Steinbrenner coming out like he did a couple of weeks ago and saying and pointing his finger at the Dodgers and the league and money this and money that, I think Uncle Stevie looks bad. You know why? Because Uncle Stevie's all about bringing in a casino. He's getting it approved. And is this the reason why he wanted to buy the Mets? Was this the reason why he wanted the Mets? Really strictly to get a casino in the Queens and him to get even richer. Because to me, as much as he's invested billions and billions of dollars into this organization, it looks really, really bad when your face, your player, your homegrown player goes to another team, I would say about 100 miles away from you, a team that doesn't like to spend, a team that is not expected to win next year because they don't have the pitching on their roster. He decides to go there instead of staying with the Mets where he has a chance to win a World Series. It makes no sense. The Mets look really, really bad. And any Met fan sitting here today that is going to make excuses for the Mets on this deal, David Stearns should be fired after this year. If this doesn't work and he goes all in on Kyle Tucker, or even bringing in Cody Bellinger and Kyle Tucker and get Tarek Skubal, if this goes to crap, it goes that wherever it's going to go, David Stearns should be absolutely fine. I don't care how close he is with the fact that he's Uncle Stevie's best friend. I don't care. This looks really, really bad because this guy grew up a Met fan, and I'm talking about David Stearns. He wanted this job, and now you're hearing that the Milwaukee Brewers, a lot of the players didn't like David Stearns, that David Stearns was really weighed out his welcome over there, and he goes to the Mets, and Met fans were so excited. Oh, we got the best GM. And the best GM just gave away the best closer in baseball and arguably one of the best power hitters in baseball. Makes no sense.
Yeah, David Stern was brought in to get the process kind of middled between what the Mets did previously with Billy Ineptler, as we call them, overpaying Max Scherzer, overpaying Marte and Verlander and all those other guys that did not work out over here. And David Stearns is coming in with the process of, we're going to develop like the Brewers. They needed the middle ground to work, and that's why they brought him in. But if this middle ground is nitpicking over $3 million for Edwin Diaz.
But Speedy, when you say that too, think about like, I retired with the Brewers.
Yep.
And got a little bit of experience. Like, do you think he tried to take that mentality from the Brewers to the Mets when you have an owner that's going to spend? Like, you can't take that mentality, can you?
Well, that's what I'm saying. I think the middle ground of what that mentality was supposed to be with the Brewers, I don't really think has been adapted to from the pitching standpoint, especially. And when you look at Edwin Diaz, yeah, David Stearns made a similar move with Josh Hader, traded Josh Hader to the Padres in 2022. And then obviously he signed a big contract with the Astros since then, trusting the Brewers bullpen process to make that kind of thing work. The difference is the Brewers bullpen process, even before Stearns got there, was always good. They traded Josh Hader. Corey Knebel was the closer when Josh Hader came up, and they had other good relievers in the past. Before that, they brought in K-Rod when they had John Axford there, and it was still a good system. The Mets have never had a good system of relief pitchers. The Mets on their World Series team finally got some good guys with Addison Reed. They traded for Tyler Clippard. They made that kind of thing work. Ever since then, they have still been a mess in terms of getting relievers. Even with Diaz there, we always question, oh, do the Mets have enough bullpen depth? They tried it last year, and look at the disaster it turned into. So that element I cannot trust the process of. And again, nitpicking over $5 million for Pete Alonso. Pete Alonso would have gotten 5 years, $150 in the market value from that was the rumor. And not even giving him an offer is just a sign of disrespect too, which is not something that you want to present yourself as an organization. And I'm not saying the Mets should adapt back to the Billy Epler ways, because those were terrible too. But if the Mets want to be respected as a good baseball culture, despite all the money that they have, they can't be treating their players like this. And that's where I think maybe the stinginess of Stearns' Brewers ways got to him a little bit. They just need to find a middle ground. And the other process I don't like that they haven't done yet, they haven't traded for a pitcher or signed a pitcher in their prime yet, which is really against their values. And they just tried to do what they did 2 years ago, try to these dart throws of 1 year contracts, and just not working.
So do you think it's kind of both too? If you look at it too in the New York market per se, right? Do you think it's kind of in the same way of what, like when George is doing, like, you know, making the Kevin Brown trade and signing those guys, like trying to get that, like the 1 year, like see what they can do. And if we can win now.
That's what they tried to do with like Quintana, and then they tried it with Montas.
George Steinbrenner would never have done this. No way in hell he would have lost Pete Alonso.
No, not at that point. Not at that point. But he did do it. And exactly kind of what Speedy's saying is too, like, when they made those deals, and like that's what George did too with, like, you know, the Kevin Browns and the Randy Johnsons of bringing them over, and the Carl Pavanos and giving him his deal, like when they were hot, like we're gonna win now, but are you really trying to win now, or like what are you doing?
Well, they're trying to win now but I think what you're saying is valid to what.
Wait a second. You're saying that the Mets are trying to win now?
Should be.
How are they trying to win now? They're bringing in Devin Williams, who had a bad season last year with the Yankees.
And by the way, now on top of it, there is more weight now on Devin Williams now because he doesn't have Edwin Diaz. So now it's going to be, and people have talked about it, and his weight now has become tenfold. Yeah, he got his money, right? He got his bag. But at the same time, it's like, you've seen what he went through with the Yankees. Now you're the end all that meets all for the back end of that bullpen, Speedy, like you're saying. And they haven't had that process of like having depth in the bullpen. What are you going to do if he shits the bed again?
Yeah. And that's the process that they've been missing. Like, if you look at the rest of their bullpen too, Brooks Raley is literally the only other one I could trust in that bullpen right now. You had Reed Garrett, who had a good beginning of the year, but fell off in the second half. Obviously, all their other relievers, they didn't bring back yet because they were just a disaster in the second half. And then same kind of thing with the starters too. Like, I get the idea of not wanting to do what Epler did, but at least go after somebody of quality, not freaking Frankie Montas.
And one of our fans, Sam Kim, says that he doesn't believe, and I'm reading what he said. He says it's not about the $3 million with the Mets. It was about giving him more than 3 years. And maybe that's true. Maybe Sam is right. Maybe the Mets didn't want to give him the 5 years, or maybe not giving him the 4 years. Here's the problem. When you have a player of this magnitude, these guys don't grow on trees. You don't find guys that are going to hit between 35 and 40 home runs and give you 100 RBIs almost every single season, who, by the way, plays injured. If you look at Pete Alonso's career, he plays the majority of the game.
Yeah, he was really only hurt 2 years ago.
Yeah, he's actually healthy every single year. So the Mets had a quality hitter in their lineup every single year. And you're sitting back here and you're going to bet, hey, Cody Bellinger can't stay healthy. He has back problems. So you're going to bet on Cody Bellinger or Kyle Tucker? Kyle Tucker has never played on a big stage like New York. I know Chicago and the Cubs, that's a big stage, but here in New York, it's a completely different ball game. There's too much pressure here. We've heard it. And now you have guys like, somebody who went to Boston who likes to take shots at the Yankees, pitchers, and we've seen hitters and all these other guys that have come to New York that haven't succeeded. And then you have guys like Joppa Chamberlain, who was brought up in the Yankees organization that succeeded here. And when he went to different places, succeeded and won multiple World Series. I sit here today, and I'm going to tell you this. I'm not a Met fan, but I feel bad for the Met fan. Because you sit here today and you're trying to figure out, what did the Mets do here? Did they make sense on not offering anything to Pete Alonso? They didn't offer him nothing. And Edwin Diaz sitting back, and this is your best closer. This is your best relief pitcher you've ever had. If you really look back at all the times and all the relief pitchers you had, and you didn't go to him and tell him, hey, listen, Edwin, I just want to let you know we're going to bring.
He was probably the best one since Franco, right, Speedy? Am I wrong?
He's better.
He's better.
Way better when you look at the analytics. And I've looked at. I knew you were going to say John Franco because John Franco is very well known, and the Yankees over the years have always taken shots at John Franco because he loves taking shots at the Yankee fans. I like John Franco. I like his personality. I met him a couple of times. He's as a long-lasting Met and St. Louis Cardinal. So anybody that knows John Franco, you know the type of personality he is. But John Franco never did the things that Edwin Diaz did. And Edwin Diaz stood for something else for the New York Met fans. One thing is, you're in Queens, and that's to me, when you look at Queens, it's very Dominican and Puerto Rican. It was everything over there. They built their team. They brought in Lindor. They brought in Soto. They're building their roster. They have if I'm not mistaken, their coach, their manager is Puerto Rican, right? So they built it that way. And you have the best closing relief pitcher in baseball, a Spanish Puerto Rican. I think he's Puerto Rican, right?
Yeah, that was where he got hurt, unfortunately.
Yeah, what I'm saying, you had the best Spanish relief pitcher in all of baseball, and you just said, you know what?
It's funny you bring that up too, because they've even said too, when he was in WBC and he blew out, they were like, our season was over.
Yeah.
Like, our season was over when we knew, like, obviously we were going to have that. And
nearly a week after he signed his contract.
Yeah. I got something that I don't think we've brought up yet. This feels like almost like a Michael Corleone like hit job by Stearns here. Think about this for a second. Who are the clubhouse leaders on the Mets for the last couple of years? Brandon Nimmo, Diaz, Pete Alonso,
Jacob deGrom.
Well, he's gone. Right?
Yeah, well,
Jacob deGrom.
Yeah.
Lindor is the only one left standing. And, it's very curious to me that these guys want to leave when we know that Steve Cohen makes families like Juan Soto's family feel really comfortable and safe at Citi Field. It's such a wonderful experience that they couldn't get at Yankee Stadium. I don't understand why anyone would want to leave after the top-notch service that's being done for the families. I think it's so good that Juan Soto wouldn't want to play for the Yankees. He'd want to play for the Mets when guys like Diaz don't want to play for the Mets, Alonso. Even if he did want to play for the Mets, for some reason, Stearns is being cheap about it. And listen, I used to play a lot of poker in college. If you have the chip stack in a tournament, you use it. Like, that's the whole point. You bully people around when you have more chips and you get them out of hands, and you end up taking down more hands and you win.
But to your point, Fish, you're 100% right. Exactly. It's chips in a chair, right? What did the Dodgers just do?
Exactly. The Dodgers just won back-to-back. And what did they do? Oh, let's add on.
Not better.
We're better now because that was our weakness.
The Dodgers weren't playing poker. They were playing craps.
The Dodgers are playing poker, but they rigged the deck. That's the problem. That's what's going on right now in baseball. I mean,
with deferred chips.
Well, they just have more chips than everybody, right? Because nobody else is willing to pony up the future like them.
Though, at the same time, like as a player or like in any position, if you know that that's what they're doing, and I know Errol will go back this and call them the deferred Dodgers. But at the same time, like, wouldn't you as a player, if you're going to be able to like know you're going to have a chance to win, like, why wouldn't you go and know, like, okay, yeah, my owner will spend a lot of money, but he didn't do anything. So why wouldn't I go over here? It's exactly what Glasnow said when he was with the Rays and did whatever. Then he's like, if you can't beat him, join him, right? Sure. And if you're going to do that, why would you not want to play? Like, why would you not want to play for a team that's going to like put you in the best position that you can, to be able to win?
You know who the Dodgers remind me of? The New England Patriots, those championship Patriots teams. Now, they didn't use deferred money, but what Bill Belichick and Tom Brady did and Robert Kraft did was they went to Tom Brady. He was the leader, and he knew he was going to make money and endorsements and everything. He would, but
also, Errol, let me cut you off for a second. But he didn't use deferred money. But what did Tom Brady do? He didn't take as much money because
that's what I'm saying.
The dudes in front of him covered his butt to make sure that he didn't get hit so they could win. So he paid Carl Nix. He paid all those guys to cover his butt to make sure he didn't get hit. That was my deferred money, but not really.
But that's my take. The fact here is the Patriots did this. They had ways of winning championships, and their way is they had a superstar quarterback that didn't care about the money, he cared about winning. And the thing is it wasn't deferred money, but he took, instead of taking 35, 40 million a year at the time and being the highest paid quarterback in all of the NFL, he took 18 million, 17 million, cut it down because, hey, I'm going to get Gronk back, or I'm going to do this back, and I'm going to pay you pay Edelman, or you pay, bring in another tackle that's going to be able to protect me so I can win another 2 Super Bowls. And that's what they did. And that was the whole, to me, the whole grind of the New England Patriots of those times and that dominant period of Bill Belichick and Tom Brady. Now, going back to this story and the New York Mets, I don't know what we can call the New York Mets right now. Do we call this? We called the Wilpons the coupons. Now, I'm not saying that Uncle Stevie hasn't spent a lot of money. If you look at Uncle Stevie and what he spent in the last 5 years, he spent a lot of money, but he put billions and billions of dollars into the wrong players. You bring in Marte. What has Marte done for him? I mean, you've done everything and anything to make the fans happy on investing into players that were not Mets. And then finally you have long-lasting Mets like Pete Alonso. And you know what? David Stearns didn't like him, or they didn't like the analytics, or they didn't put the analytics together in a way where they thought that a guy like Pete Alonso is important to the roster. So they said, you know what? We don't need Pete. We're not offering him anything. We're letting him go.
And that's something we talk about on the show a lot too. And you can talk about this too, Fish, as a coach. Like, what does that do for the culture of the team? If you're in a locker room, a clubhouse, whatever, like when they're either not like giving these guys offers or not doing anything, like what is that like as a coach? Like how does that change like your perception, or like how do I get them on board to like, want to win and like, want to compete for each other and everything, when it's like these guys and Brandon, and he's obviously made his money, but they're just different guys. Like, does that change the culture of like kind of what you want to do to win?
I mean, I've been in as a teacher, not really as a coach, but as a teacher in some really toxic places where you literally have people that are trying to lead by example, and they're being put out in front, making to do all the work in front of everybody. And then you're due a bonus before Christmas. And I worked at this place only a few months, and they let her go before she was supposed to get a 5-figure bonus. And she was doing everything there. And if you don't think that's going to kill the culture of a place, then you don't know anything about it. You know, it doesn't matter what profession. If you're not going to respect the people that have put the work in at the place ahead of you, then people aren't going to like working there. There's no reason to like working there. And I think that's really the long story, short of all of it. It's just kind of a bummer for the Mets and your fans.
I feel bad for the Met fans. I don't think it's a bummer for the organization. The organization's stupid. They gave the reins to David Stearns, and David Stearns is right now. Hey, you know what? We got Stone, we got Soto, we got Lindor, we got all this other stuff. We're going into Christmas, and we're happy what we have.
Can I ask you a question, though, Errol? If you were put in a vacuum at the start of this offseason where you're like, we got two guys we could choose to pay, Devin Williams or Edwin Diaz. How are you throwing that money at Devin Williams after last season? I just don't understand the logic.
I'll tell you the logic. And again, Devin Williams came to New York with the Yankees. He came to the American League East. It didn't work out. There was a lot of pressure on him. It was to me, he was in a different position. He has been successful in the National League. He's been one of the best relief pitchers in baseball for like 5 years. He's been as dominant as any pitcher in the National League and consistent. And then he goes to the Yankees and he wasn't. Now, the Mets are thinking, hey, you know what? We bring in Devin Williams. We're not paying him as much as we're going to pay an Edwin Diaz. And I really thought that the Mets thought they were still going to get Edwin Diaz, and they were going to get him, and they were still going to pay him what the Dodgers were going to give him, and they were never bringing Pete Alonso. I don't really believe the Mets were ever thinking about bringing Pete Alonso back. It was Edwin Diaz and then Devin Williams, and then they were going to go after a Cody Bellinger or Kyle Tucker or make a trade and add a big bat in the lineup.
Do you think they're going to make a huge swing right now, though? Because, it's kind of embarrassing in the media. And I don't know if Uncle Stevie's going to be happy with it. I know George wouldn't have stood for it as the Yankees. Like, the first reaction Steinbrenner would have done to something like this would have been to trade for frickin' Mike Trout or something like that, and then get like, oh well, he's great, but we got him for nothing. And then we're gonna get 3 more guys that used to be MVPs. Maybe we can get something out of them, but we're gonna fire back. I wonder what's gonna happen. If I'm a Mets fan, I think I want to see something happen.
Another go job.
Maybe it's you're getting that Tarek Skubal. Maybe that's the move. You give up the farm, you get Skubal, you pay Skubal. Now you have the ace for the rest of the way.
All right. So you're saying the Mets will go after Tarek Skubal? That's
Hold on, but we're talking. Speedy, tell us, like, because you're a Mets guy. We're not Mets guys. Like, Speedy, like, is what Fish saying is that something that you would either see them doing, or would they do it?
They should be. I've always bashed the Mets front office before even Stearns got there for not either trading for or signing like either a younger pitcher or a pitcher in their prime type thing. And obviously Skubal is probably the most extreme example of that, but that process has been really flawed for just the way the Mets have operated, for not being able to grow their pitching. Now, obviously they try to grow their homegrown pitching outside of DeGrom. None of them developed well. So maybe they got afraid and went to the other approach. And then they went away from the not Max Scherzer and Justin Verlander 40-year-old men approach. And I just think they just don't really have a good system in place to do it. And I want to bring up something you brought up too, Job, before that. In addition to the Devin Williams being thrown into the fire, those young players, whoever's not traded, whoever Vientos will start at first, possibly Carson Benz to come up and start in the outfield, or maybe Mauricio if he's not ready or something like that. You're throwing them into the fire for bigger roles right away than they would have imagined.
Sam Kim is saying that they're going to give Stearns at least 2 more years, and because he wants to mold, and they believe he's going to mold the team the way he wants to mold it. And maybe he's right. Sam, you might be right. You very much might be right that the Mets say the organization might say, we got to give Stearns a little bit more time to figure out how he sees this team and where he sees this team in the future. But you got all these young pitchers, you have McLean, Tong, and all these other guys. Now you're talking about Tarek Skubal. Now, if Tarek Skubal is the guy, you're going to have to give up a significant portion of your prospects to land a Tarek Skubal, because there's no way in hell Detroit's going to say, here's the best pitcher in baseball, the second best pitcher in baseball. Him and Skeens, you can argue, are the two best. You're going to just hand him over in the prime of his career, 28, 29 years old. There's no way in hell. And the Mets, after losing two superstar players, two important pieces to the puzzle, is that enough to get you over the hump to be able to compete with the Dodgers after them landing Edwin Diaz? And they're not done. They could get Kyle Tucker. So, I mean, as a Met fan, and I'm not, but as a Met fan, and I'm honest to God, believing that the Met fans should be pissed off. They shouldn't be happy about this. This is not a good sign of where the organization is moving. The only thing I could say for the Met fan is sit back and hope that David Stearns actually understands what he just did and what he just hurt when it came to the fans, and what the fans believed in a Pete Alonso and Edwin Diaz was for the last couple of years. That's the only thing I could say. Speaking of shocking, in a shocking story that is still developing, Michigan University fired head coach Sherrone Moore with a cause on Wednesday. And the cause is having an inappropriate relationship with a female staffer from within the program. The New York Post reports that football staff Paige Shivers' address is where a 911 call came from, where apparently Moore threatened to harm both her and himself. Moore then turned over to a detained by police as a suspect of an alleged assault of a school employee. TMZ released a dispatch of Moore's wife calling 911, claiming Moore was suicidal after losing his job. ESPN's Adam Rittenberg reports that Moore will remain in police custody until his scheduled court case Friday. Several Michigan football players and students said they knew of the potential scandal after Michigan lost to USC on October 11th. And the New York Post reports say he was behaving more and more erratically as the season went on towards players and staff. Since Moore is still under a 2-year show cause penalty from the Connor Stallion scandal, it isn't likely that Moore will be allowed to coach college football again, regardless of how this plays out legally. This story, obviously, we don't know the whole thing behind it. There's a lot more that we're going to hear, and there's a lot more of the story that's going to come out, and it might not be very good. Now, me and Fish were talking about it, and is this another Penn State scandal? Now, I don't know if it's that bad. That was really, really bad. But the fact here is Michigan's been part of not one, but 2 scandals in the amount of 3 years. And you would think, when you think about Jim Harbaugh leaving Michigan and going to the NFL and all that story and what the story came out with the Connor Stallion and stealing signs and what they were doing in Ohio State, as we have brought up Ohio State and obviously Coach Day and what he has done over the years to Michigan football, trying to stay pat where Michigan was dominating Ohio State. And finally, something needed to give, and it gave with the Connor Stallion story. Now you're hearing this story, and this is the thing, and this is where I look at it. Has this been going on since Jim Harbaugh? And if it has, did Jim know anything about it? And if Jim knew something about this, and the FBI has investigated or will investigate deeper into the story, does Jim Harbaugh get pulled into this? Does he get arrested? Now, I don't know. I don't know how deep it has gone, but I seem to believe that it wasn't going on just for 2 years. This guy has been there for a long, long time.
Well, but Errol, too, at the same time, it's like exactly what you said. It affects so many people on different depths of what it really could be. And like you said, how long has this been going on, and how long have they known about it before it happens? And I kind of relate this one to kind of like the Tiger Woods thing, right? And where like when one thing happens, the iceberg just appears, right?
Well,
And so you see it, and now all of a sudden, all this other stuff comes out, and you're like, well, then we obviously saw like it originally supposedly from a DoorDash delivery of him getting a Plan B delivered to his office. Like, what are we doing? Like, what are you're getting a DoorDash delivery from Plan B to your office? Like, what are we talking about right now?
You know what's really weird about this story, and again, we don't know the whole story, so all the fans out there, they're gonna have assumptions and they're gonna assume what the story is really about. What we do know is Moore is in custody right now, and he's not going to be released until Friday, if he even gets released. We don't know what the depths of this story is. Only the police do, and the FBI, which has investigated. And that's the crazy thing about all these stories that we speak about. We talk about basketball. We had Tim Donaghy on the show, where you're talking about sports betting. Sports has become so big, it's become a business. And now you have coaches with the NIL deals and the portal and all the money that is given to these coaches, and they get away with murder. They're getting away with so many different things, not just in college sports, but in professional sports. It has you wondering, do they have control? Does the leagues have control? Do the committee and the NCAA have control of these guys that are making tens of millions of dollars and not really understanding why these guys are involved in these scandals? And when you look at Moore and you look at this story, you knew that Moore had to keep quiet. He needed to make sure everything was clear and clean because of the scandal that happened with Connor Stallions. And now all of a sudden, he knew about that. He knew he had to keep clean. He knew that he was the guy that was going to stay pat over there after Jim Harbaugh decided to flee. And he took a lot of his coaches to go and coach over there in LA. He was the one that stayed there. Now, maybe the reason why he was staying there is because he had a relationship over there, and that's why he wanted to stay. There could have been a lot of other reasons why behind the scenes on why Moore decided to stay there and not flee and go and coach over there with LA. Because the fact here is they're not allowed to play for a championship. They're not allowed to go for a national championship because of what happened with the Connor Stallion story. And now you're sitting here and you're wondering, hey, did Michigan, now the players knew about it. Did the executives, did the director of Michigan football know that this was going on? And if he did know what was going on, why isn't he getting arrested? And that happened in Penn State. That's the same thing that happened in Penn State. Paternal knew somewhat what was going on, but he kind of looked the other way. And you saw what happened. It ruined everything. Penn State, all the championships, all the great things that Penn State did washed away because of one person. And again, I'm not saying that Michigan is a great school and a great program and they're great people running it. They're not. We all know they're not. And I'm going to say that about a lot of, programs and sports teams. They're not all great. But when you think about this story and you wonder that there are young women and young men being abused because of power, that to me makes me wonder if the business and the sports world and the sport is bigger than everything else. And if that's the truth, something needs to be done. Something needs to be taken over by the NCAA and college sports, because if they don't do something about this soon, it's going to get worse, because this isn't the only scandal going on right now. It's not just Michigan. I'm not creating a story and I don't know, but I'm going to tell you this right now. There are scandals going on every single day in sports. It's just a matter of who's getting caught and who's not. And guess what? Moore got caught because the guy was sloppy, stupid, dumb, and again, an organization, a program that does not know how to control their coaches, and they don't know how to control where the money is going and why the money is going to those people that do not know how to control themselves sexually, intimately, and understand what the emblem and the program is all about for developing young men and young ladies to move on in their lives.
Yeah, the direct analogy would be the Penn State scandal too. And you talk about the athletic directors having a lot of say in trying to cover these kinds of things up, and it's worse when it's a personal level too. It's one thing, obviously, talk about these betting schemes and all this other stuff, all these recruiting violations that people have done in the past. And I brought it up a few months ago with Mel Tucker at Michigan State too. And Michigan State's been another one that was suspect, obviously, with the whole gymnastics scandal too. Larry Nassar and Tom Izzo was believed to know stuff about it, and they covered that up, obviously.
How long was Larry Nassar getting away with it?
Yeah.
Tens of years and years.
And they had to go to that whole court case too, which took about 5 years for the gymnastics team to actually win their case. And
the United States
and what you said though, Errol, too, at the same, like, how many people, like you said, to the depth of it, like, how many people did that affect?
Wow. How many people knew about
many
it?
that we probably don't even know about, like, as we speak in the media world, and where you don't know, like, it's so further more than we will ever even know, in how it's like affected these people in ways where you can't quantify, you can't even say what it is, right? But it's so much deeper, and it's crazy too, because there's and you're 100% right, where there's so many different organizations that this happened to. My son's in college right now, and literally they were at a Christmas party and their coach just said he's gone. And you're just it's crazy to me, like, as a parent too, like, when that happens, that affects your children. Like you said, this is young men, young women, and that affects on so many depths of what it is, because they're going to move on and they're going to become great and they're going to do their own things, but it affects in so many ways that you don't even understand. Like, and there's so many people that hide things, right?
Especially when you have of a program that's wealthy too. I was telling Fish off air, like,
one of the top 5 wealthiest schools in all of professional.
They're the wealthiest school in the Big Ten.
Yes,
and obviously, hence why they have the biggest stadium. And we were talking about it with, like, the Connor Stallion scandal and all the other coaches that might have been covering that up.
And let's be honest,
hot water.
Let's be honest, the Connor Stallions was not, to me, I don't call it a scandal. I never looked at the Connor Stallion story to be a scandal. It was all, to me, it was all taken to a whole nother level because of Ohio State and Ryan Day.
Okay.
I believe it was all about Ryan Day and his, just, to me, his narcissism, and he was doing whatever it took to brush out Michigan and Michigan football, because he knew that Ohio State, the way they recruit and the way they do things over the last couple of years, was really being blocked by Michigan and Jim Harbaugh. And I believe that. And Connor Stallions is not the only person reading and stealing signs. Everybody is.
Oh, no, they hired 6 other students.
Everybody does it. Everybody does it. So for anybody to think that, oh, Connor Stallions is a cheater, he's a worthless piece of garbage. And yes, he's a diehard Michigan fan. And yes, he came out, he said he would do it again if it came down to it, if it comes to winning a national championship. I think any fan would say that. The fact here is, this scandal is a lot worse when you think about, when you're hearing a young lady and abusive assaults and all this other stuff, and that this could be tailing back from years ago. And again, if Jim Harbaugh knew anything about this, and I'm not, by the way, I'm not creating a story, but to me, it's kind of unlikely that this just happened now. This has been going on a long time. This hasn't been going on for a year. And I believe that's why the investigating it usually takes 2 years before you're going to arrest somebody. You're investigating this and you're looking into it. They can't arrest you unless they have enough on you. It's the same thing with the mafia. It took them years to take down John Gotti. Think about it. And John Gotti, they knew he was killing people. They knew that he was whacking people and he was stealing and he was doing all these other things. They had to get enough on him to arrest him and put him away for a long time. The same thing here. They've been investigating this a long time. So Does Jim Harbaugh know anything about this? Was he involved in any kind of way with this? And if it is true, does Jim lose his job? If it's done, and I believe Michigan will protect Jim Harbaugh. I believe it. They're going to protect him because Jim Harbaugh has ridden off into the sunset. He won a national championship. It wasn't taken away from him. And he did what he said he was going to do. And he's back. He's back coaching in the NFL, trying to win a Super Bowl with Mr. Duckman. So to me, it's starting to get me thinking that this has been going on a lot longer than people say it is.
Yeah, and also we talk about like obviously the scandal of cheating being performance enhancing, more directly related to why they won a national championship. But Jabba, you mentioned it too. Like something like this is like a personal, humanity type scandal. Like this is direct contact, and like Errol was saying, like Paige was there for I think since 2022 at the so this could have been going on for a very long time. But something you brought up on the phone too, Errol, is the fact that she coincidentally got a pay raise after this.
I got a story up, so you can go check.
Yeah, you can check that out too.
She went from what, like 55,000 to like 90,000,
55% increase, and it got 90 grand. And she was the only staffer that ended up getting that, which makes it a very suspicious situation. But again, it's a lot worse when there's assault charges on it.
And here's another story. His wife, Moore's wife, reached out and called 911. Did she know about it? Was she involved with it? Come on, think about it. She called 911.
Let's be honest. Let's look at it this way. Yeah. If you know you're doing something wrong, and you are, like, you're covering a lie to cover a lie, there is no chance she didn't know. Mm-hmm. Like, maybe she didn't know to the full extent of it, but you damn well know she knew something was going on, and that doesn't make it right or make it wrong in any and like, we're not trying to like create a narrative or anything, like, but when something like this goes on, it's not like it just came to fruition, right? It literally it's had legs, because that's the reason, like, that we have this story, right? That's the reason. And I always like relate it to the things that we know here in Nebraska. Like, Tom Osborne covered up a lot of stuff. And what did the university do? They covered it up to save face. Mm-hmm. Until it had to come, and there was only so much you could do at that point. Like, and now, how do you repair that? How do you repair it?
You can't. This is unrepairable, especially when it has to do with kids, underage kids that are going to school, and the coaches are taking advantage of them. And again, it's all about money. With all the money that's being divided out. Now, I've been behind the NIL deals. I've been behind the portal and how much money these kids should be making under the thought that these coaches are making a ridiculous amount of money. And these guys, these coaches are recruiting them and bringing them to the school, and they're winning championships, and they're big recruiting players that are going to play NFL football in 2 or 3 years. That to me makes a lot of sense on why I believe that the NCAA has not really realized that there has to be some kind of control of this money. As much as you think about it this way. All right. Lane Kiffin decided to go to LSU, right? That's what he decided to do. Why? Now, obviously he got paid. Now, Old Miss offered him the same money, but it was the portal. He had been offered more portal money and NIL money to bring in more players to come and play for the school, more than Old Miss could afford. So he looked at it and said, hey, I know everybody's going to come, and I'm going to give a shout out to Josh Silverberg, who told me, well, he's an ass, he's this, he's that. Anybody that sees the facts on the line and you put a check mark on every single thing that was offered to Lane Kiffin, I'm jumping, I'm moving. I'm going to get in my car and I'm going to drive to LSU and I'm going to say sayonara to Ole Miss. So think about it. When you think about the money that's getting divided out now, and now you can do it legally. There's no, well, the FBI is going to get involved. You can't brush it under the table. You can't do what the Clippers did with Kawhi Leonard. You got to do it. You can actually stay face and get away with it. Well, if that's the case, the NCAA has to look at these stories and wonder, do they really have control of it now that you can pay a young lady who's an assistant on the bench, hey, you know what? I'm going to give you a 55% pay raise just because you got a nice butt. You know, I mean, just think about it. To me, it's starting to get me worried that the NCAA do not know how to control the coaches, do not know how to control the.
But how would you like? How would you even?
I don't know.
Like,
I don't know. I don't know. I don't think there's any answer to it unless you're going to sit in the committee and you're going to get the smartest people in sports and let them sit around and say, well, this works.
But at the same time, you can say that, but the most corrupt people in the world is our government. And
yeah, no doubt.
And so you have all those people in power. And when you get power, and power is money, right? And that's exactly what you're saying.
Yeah. It's scary.
But I don't know that they even know, like, even where to start, like as an athlete or as whatever, or an institution where they see, okay, these, 18, 19-year-old kids, and then obviously some are playing 5, 6, 7 years and they're freaking have families and married and all the other stuff. But how or where would you start? Like,
I'm going to throw you a curveball. John Calipari. Remember this? And Fish, you brought this up. You did. You had a John Calipari story. What was it? I don't know if it was the last show. Yeah. It was the last show. And John Calipari was complaining that the NIL and the portals, that these players are making so-and-so amount of money and all this other garbage that he is saying. When he was the king of bringing in youngsters, 18, 17-year-old kids to play 1 year and go right into the NBA because of money, right? Remember that? You remember that, Fish. And now he was complaining about Rick Pitino, who's bringing in guys that are 27, 28 years old, over the age. They're playing. They've been in college for 5 or 6 years. And he says, my guys are playing men. How is that fair? And here's the answer to it, guys. It isn't fair. There is no fairness when it comes to money. Money talks. It doesn't matter if the program has more money and they can throw more money into the NIL deals or the portals. That's where they're going. That is the facts. There is no changing it until somebody puts something in writing. This is what you have. This is what you can spend. And this is what you cannot do. Because if you do it, you're going to be suspended. You're going to be taken out of a ball game, or you can't go into the NCAA tournament, March Madness, or whatever the hell it is. It's really bad right now. And there is no answer, Jabba. That's the answer. There is no answer. There's no, the only way you can figure something like this out is if you put the right people on a round table. And I'm not talking about Nick Saban or Dabo Sweeney, who bitches and moans about everything because they didn't get what they wanted. And that's why Nick Saban's hanging out at the beach, hopefully not doing what Bill Belichick is doing, hanging out with a 24-year-old and having his woman tell him what to do over there in North Carolina. Or, do the right thing and figure out what is the right thing to do to protect these young people, these young adults, when they go in front of a disgusting, vicious, disgusting man like Sherrone Moore. He is the epiphany of what you would say you want to keep your kids away from. You want to make sure that your kids are safe away from this maniac, because this man is not a good man. He has never been a good man. To me, he's probably been whatever he was as a young man, and he's doing it now to young people that have no protection. They can't protect themselves. And unfortunately, the NCAA needs to step in and do something about it. This guy needs to go to jail.
So the woman might be over 30 is what we're hearing. The woman that's a staffer that's been around with him in the program for a while. And salaciously, apparently her and the wife follow each other on Instagram. And this story might be like, there's a lot more to this that might be coming out. It might be more Bobby Petrino-esque than Sandusky-esque, which would be a good thing. But obviously, he's being arrested for an assault. Compared to Sandusky, what Petrino did was nothing. But it's just terrible that we're talking about this. The Michigan program was a national champion just a couple of years ago, and now look what's happened to them. Like, this is like as far as you could fall as fast as possible from those type of heights. It's pretty crazy that this has happened. It's embarrassing. Like, I would just be embarrassed at this point.
Well,
It's
Well,
there's a-
and if
yeah,
we're
go
talking about kids, we might as well talk about this next one with
Yeah.
Mr. Philip Rivers himself.
Grandpa.
the grandpa coming out of retirement. NFL Network reports that the Colts have signed 44-year-old quarterback and future Hall of Famer. Yes, Steve White, future Hall of Famer Philip Rivers. To
You
their
think he just wanted to get out of the house?
100.
Is that what he wanted to do?
He was coaching high school, but after losing starting quarterback Daniel Jones for the year with a torn Achilles and backup rookie Riley Leonard, who should be on our show, spraining his PCL in the loss to Jacksonville, with former first-round pick Anthony Richardson still out with an eye injury, who knows, he suffered in a pregame warm-up early this season. The Colts had no one to step in under center if Leonard couldn't tough it out. He has practiced in full the last 2 days, just in case the Colts added Philip Rivers to the practice squad. Ooh, listen to that. Rivers, who hasn't played since the pandemic, which it's funny what he said at the news press conference. When
His press conference was awesome.
Yes, when he took the Colts to the playoffs in his final season, told CBS JJ Watt that he runs a very similar offensive scheme as the Colts with his son's high school team. Head coach Shane Steichen was Rivers' quarterback coach with the Chargers from 2016 to 2019, as he said how much he loved him. Reports say that the Colts tried to sign Broncos practice squad quarterback Sam Ehlinger, but Ehlinger turned it down. Injured Riley Leonard, former practice squad, Brett Rippon, and Philip Rivers are the three quarterbacks who could start this week for the Indianapolis Colts. Rivers also pushes back his Hall of Fame clock by 5 years by continuing his NFL career. The Colts are sitting at 8-5 and have one of the toughest schedules left in the league, all against winning teams at the Seahawks, home versus the 49ers, home versus the Jaguars, and at the Texans. To me, one of the great defenses I've seen since the Baltimore Ravens of 2000. I'm not surprised. And it's so funny. And I wanted you guys to hear a little bit.
You said not surprised. Did you think it would be him, though?
Yes. And I'm going to tell you why. We have an audio, right, Speedy?
It's a video.
All right. Play the video. I want people to see a little bit of this video.
A coach that I love and an organization that I really enjoyed being with. Mr. Irsay believing in me in that year in 2020 when it didn't go so good in 2019. And shoot, the teammates that I were able to play with, 14 of them are still here. Training room's the same, PR guys are the same, equipment room's the same, and they wanted me. And I try to keep it as simple as that. And a game I love to play, a game that I thought I was done playing. Certainly, I wasn't really hanging on to any hope of playing again. I kind of thought that ship had sailed. But something about it excited me, and it's kind of one of those deals. The door opens, and you can either walk through it and find out if you can do it, or run from it. And I know that there's risk involved, obviously, of what may or may not happen. But the only way to find out is going for it. And I just felt almost like it was a gift, another opportunity to play and cut it loose with your guys in the game you love to play, and the dream that you got to live. You may get some bonus time. So I really kept it as simple as that.
He used it as a gift, ladies and gentlemen. And maybe it is a gift. Maybe it's a gift from God. You could see that he put on some weight. He's not in that NFL body that he wants to be in. You could definitely see that he has that fatherly body, 44 years old. So I still think, first of all, Philip Rivers is, to me, one of the most accurate quarterbacks we've ever seen. So if he could still throw the ball, he could still make those passes. And I still think he is definitely credible to be better than Riley Leonard is. Now, What worries me about it is he hasn't played an NFL football game for 5 years. As a matter of fact, the last time he's played during the pandemic, and he made a joke when he stepped up and he spoke to the media, says, "Thank God this isn't a Zoom call." And he made a joke because during the pandemic, all he could do when it came to speaking to the media is through a Zoom call. And now he gets the chance to talk to the media. He talked about his family. He talked about all the trials and tribulations and Jim Irsay and how Jim Irsay gave him another chance and that he loved it there and that he loves this organization. And he goes and every single week in and week out, he watches all the Chargers games and all the Indianapolis Colts games because those were the two teams he played for and that he has a lot of love for them. What makes me think that this man can do it is because of what he was when he played on the football field. The guy was cold. When he went out there, he would yell at you. I've heard it. We've had guys on the show. He was a trickster. He was a jokester. And when he stepped on a football field, he didn't give a crap who you are. He didn't care if you were Tom Brady, Peyton Manning. If he wanted to mouth off to you, he wanted to mouth off to the defenses, he would do that. And you could see that he had that flair about him. Phillip Rivers always was looked down upon. And what I mean by that is when he was drafted, he was practically traded for Eli Manning because Eli Manning didn't want to play for San Diego.
No, he wasn't practically. He was.
Yeah, so he was pretty much thrown away and taken by the San Diego Chargers. Now, you remember, that's the same San Diego Chargers team that had Drew Brees. Drew Brees eventually went back. He went to New Orleans, won a Super Bowl, became the Drew Brees superstar quarterback that he was when he came out of college, second-round draft pick. And Phillip Rivers, to me, out of all three quarterbacks in that class, from Eli Manning and Ben Roethlisberger, was not the most successful, but the most accurate, and statistics would tell you he was the best one out of all three of them. Now,
hold on. The best one.
Statistically, he was. Statistically, Phillip Rivers is better than all
it was 17 years that he played. Of course, he was going to have more yards.
Actually, if you look at Phillip Rivers and his career, I think he played less than Ben Roethlisberger and he played less than Eli Manning. So,
he played more, but he played more years.
One more year than Eli Manning.
One more. Yeah, it's not much, and his numbers are.
Well, that's a whole year to accumulate yards.
The fact here is statistics would tell you he's better than both of those guys.
Okay, statistically saying that. Okay, and we've talked about this.
I never said he was better. You didn't hear what I said.
You guys can agree to disagree on this one. Does championships fall in that category?
Okay, so championships in the NFL, and I've said this many times, and I've gone back and forth with my arguments to this. It takes a team to win a championship. If you go over to Patrick Mahomes and those championships that he's won, go look at Patrick Mahomes' numbers in the Super Bowl. They're not very good, okay? Even Tom Brady, his best Super Bowl was against the Eagles, which he lost against. He had over 500 yards, and he didn't even win that Super Bowl when he played Nick Foles, okay? So when you go back and you talk about championships, it takes defenses. It takes special teams. It takes an offensive line. It takes coaching. So I'm going to go back to it. I'm not saying Phillip Rivers is better than any one of those quarterbacks. I'm saying statistics would tell you when you look at the stats, he is better than Eli Manning. He is better than Ben Roethlisberger. You can disagree or agree to it. It doesn't really matter. The fact here is I don't think Eli Manning can come back. I don't think Ben Roethlisberger can come back. But I do believe Phillip Rivers can come back. Now, how good he's going to be.
But how can you say that when they're the same age?
He's more
same
accurate.
caliber, same everything.
He's more accurate than both of them. He is accurate. He has been known for his accuracy. As a matter of fact,
So is he literally going to just run 5-yard outs? And
I don't know what he's going to do. I don't know what he can do. I don't know what he can do.
His accuracy is one thing, but Errol, you forget the problem that Phillip Rivers always had is he was a sidearm thrower. He's a 3/4 thrower. He has a weird arm slot.
He's Uncle Rico.
Well, he's much better than Uncle Rico, but it's Grandpa. He's got a grandson or a granddaughter 1 year old. So this is I don't know how many grandparents are playing quarterback in the NFL.
4 years old. Come on. He's 44. Tom Brady played at 45, and because he's a grandpa because he had kids at a young age. I think he had his first kid when he was 19.
You don't think having like a dozen kids in your house takes years off your life and ages you like in different ways?
First of all, nobody is saying that. What I'm saying is,
I can attest to that. It does add years to your life.
I'm not saying it's going to work or it's not going to work. All I do know is, out of all three of these quarterbacks coming out of retirement, he's the one that I could say that would probably, if any of it's going to work, it would be him. It's just his personality. Ben Roethlisberger came out after he heard that Phillip Rivers was coming out of retirement and said, he even made a joke about it. He says, if there's anybody that's going to do it, it's Phil. He knows that he can't do it. And Eli laughed. He giggled at it. Because Eli knows he can't do it. He had back problems. Eli, at the tail end of his career, was not healthy enough. Phillip Rivers, when he walked away from the sport, it wasn't because of injuries. It really wasn't. He left because he felt that it was time for him to step away. He had a family. He had kids. He wanted to coach his son in high school. That's what he wanted to do. So to say that, I'm not saying it's going to work. Who knows? I don't even know if he's ever going to even get a chance to step on the football field. What I do know is he misses.
Okay, but Errol, you can't say that, because if you're stepping away from your family, and as a family man of what we all know Phillip Rivers, and not obviously knowing him personally, we know he's a family man, right? There is no chance in hell that he is leaving his family and going to the practice squad if he ain't going to get on the field. There's no chance.
And we know that. Go ahead.
He's going to play, guys. Like,
no,
if Riley Leonard can't go, he's coming in. There's no doubt. Maybe not this week because they haven't really done anything with him yet. But he's going to play because they have a chance to make the playoffs. And they're not putting in Brett Rippon's hands. You know, like, there's no way.
Daniel Jones, who was supposed to get an extension at the end of the year, is not getting an extension. I'm just letting everybody know this.
And that sucks. That sucks for him.
Yeah, when you tear an Achilles, you're never the same quarterback. Anybody that knows anything about the Achilles tear, and Daniel Jones is what? He's 30 now. There is no way now, unfortunately, the Colts are going to give it to him. I think they're bringing Phillip Rivers in because Riley Leonard is the guy that they believe is going to take over in the future. You bring in Phil. Phil is a leader. He understands how to be a coach on the sidelines. He's been coaching high school kids. They think that he can help Riley Leonard out at the last 4 years and maybe eventually become a part of that coaching staff. Maybe his plan, maybe the whole point of Steichen is bringing him in to be the quarterback coach for next year for a guy like a Riley Leonard.
That's a cool idea. That's a really cool idea.
It could happen.
You know, I don't know if they're.
But he's on something right there. Like, maybe he saw that too, in where it's like, okay, I can help in this context of doing. But at the end of the day, he's 44 years old. He's done everything that he could do. And he's like, yeah, I still get the opportunity. But Errol, I think you're 100% right. And I guess I never really thought about it like this, because we obviously known he's coaching high school and doing all these other things. But maybe that's kind of where he saw it too. And it's like, hey, I'm still young enough. Obviously, I can, get in and strap it up and lace them up again. But then it's like, hey, after this, instead of being in high school, why the heck can't I come do this and see kind of the leadership that he does have and be a part of a franchise, whether it's with the Colts or whether it's with somebody else, but to see kind of how he helps in transitions, those certain things. Aaron Rodgers, when he was with Brett Favre, same thing, right? Where you have that.
Aaron Rodgers will come back like this, though.
No.
You know why guys can't come back in football, and this is why I'd be really surprised if it works. Maybe Phillip Rivers is one of the few guys that can do it. Brett Favre similar. It's, can you still take a hit? Are you going to hear footsteps after that first hit? It's very different. I remember even Michael Vick hearing footsteps at the end of his career because he didn't want to take a hit anymore, and that was Michael Vick. You know what I mean? That happens to everybody. You just can't react as fast. You know it's going to hurt. Myles Garrett is coming off the edge. Like, that guy's got a 16-pack. He's going to destroy your life. You're going to be able to throw this ball accurately from a three-quarter arm slot at age 44? when that's coming from you. If you do, you have the best guts of all time. Maybe you're a crazy person. Brett Favre, we know, has Parkinson's. You know what I mean? Like, he took a lot of hits. You could argue not a smart move by him. But at the same time, warrior, on the field. So there's like, the positives and the negatives of all of that. I'd be shocked because I just see it. You see it all the time. Like, they're just not the same because they're not going to be as aggressive in the pocket because they're afraid to get hit.
But Fish, this is the same guy that played in the playoffs with a torn ACL
4 years ago. And that the ACL thing was 15 years ago.
I'm just saying I've never seen a quarterback do that.
I remember. I agree with you.
Really,
I
your
remember
take-
that.
Your take on it?
Yeah, again, they were going to be stuck for the short term at the quarterback position, no matter what. So I like your thinking of like trying to mentor Riley Leonard because the Colts are not going to have a first round pick. So like the odds of them taking another quarterback and if they let Daniel Jones go is going to be very slim as it is. So at least maybe a short term plan for the length of his rookie contract, that would be where you want to go. The Colts, if they were throwing darts at trying to save their playoff spot at quarterback anyway, it would have been to something like that with Sam Ellinger, who was drafted by them, but now it's Steichen. He just knows the team a little bit, or Brett Rippon, like one of these other guys that are third string quarterback, practice squad quarterback. So like, what's the harm in the upside of trying out Phillip Rivers if he's available and he's healthy? And again, maybe you just get a semi pseudo quarterback coach out of it for Riley Leonard if it does end up being the case, because Riley Leonard, it seems like he played well enough last week, and I think to play if he's healthy, it looked like he was.
Well, we've seen him go to a national championship. We know Riley Leonard has the personality to be a good quarterback in a league if he gets the right tutelage and the coaching on the side.
Right.
And I think Phillip Rivers makes a lot of sense.
And we know from interviewing him that Riley's a smart guy.
Yes,
so
he's very smart.
He's a very coachable player. Like
Smart guy, but not a very nice guy.
Well, smart. All right, I should say that. Smart guy on the football field, not in the sense
I'm
of,
just kidding.
like he was
Riley.
mocking the
You
professor. I know you were getting it with that.
I'm just kidding. The fact is Riley's always been a nice guy. We've been interviewing since the 8th grade. I mean, we know what Riley is capable of, and we know the personality that he is. So we expect him to be successful in the NFL because everywhere he's gone, he's been successful. So I will never, ever bust on a kid that I know and I've known for a long, long time and seen him develop as a great quarterback in college, high school, and now the NFL. So, and Anthony Richardson, he's done. I think they know he's done. And
that sucks because he had an opportunity to be great.
Yeah, he's done. He is absolutely done. And again, as a fan of Phillip Rivers, because I am a fan of Phillip Rivers, the window thrower himself, as Mike Francesa always called him. He gave him the nickname. I could say this about Phillip Rivers. If there's anybody that can do this, it's him. There's something about him. Now, I think it's crazy. Like Fish says, anybody that's coming out of retirement hasn't been hit by a professional athlete, 350 pounds coming at you like a bull and is going to try to run you over and try to take your head off. I'm going to say I'm going to be crapping my pants. But Phillip Rivers has a set of balls, set of knockers on him, and it obviously he does because he got a ton of kids. But
we always think too, as guys that have done it before, like me just playing catch with Carter, right? And Carter's like, "You gonna hit me in the chest?" And I'm like, "Dude, I'm still doing the same things that I did when I was 20 years old." And we think we can do it. It's a little bit different. But we still always are gonna think that. And when you get to the pinnacle of what you do, and especially in sports, and as all of us being competitive, right? Like, I don't like losing in anything. I don't care if it's cards. I don't care if it's like, but then you get in the opportunity.
We know, Jabba. We know.
Well, 100%. We've had that conversation. But I'm excited for him as a dad and as an athlete. Like, I'm excited to see what he can do because he was a great quarterback, and you can't take that away from him. And now to come back and to see what he can maybe do at 44, like I'm excited about this. I am. And he may suck, but at the same time, we're still going to enjoy it. Either way, it's good and bad.
If he believes he can do it, I'm sure he's got something.
Heck yeah.
I think he does. All right, ladies and gentlemen, our deuce of the day.
the deuce of the day.
You not a log. I don't have a log, but you know.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, our deuce of the day goes to Cam Newton. Yeah, Cam Newton has a lot to say about the Phillip Rivers story, as he came out and said, wait a second, Phillip Rivers is coming out of retirement? Why didn't they come to me? I'm Cam Newton. I still have it in me. I'm younger. I've got the ability. I'm this, I'm that. And of course, Phillip Rivers didn't say anything. I'm sure he heard Cam Newton all over, the Stephen A. Smith show and all the other stupid crap shows that he's been on. And Cam Newton has a problem. It's always about him. It's me, 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 me. Instead of letting it just go and you didn't hear Ben Roethlisberger say it. You didn't hear Eli Manning say it. Any of the guys. Tony Romo loves it. But the guy that didn't like it is the one guy you don't want to hear from. Mr. Ugly Hatter himself, Cam Newton, comes out and says, hey, wait a second, why didn't Indianapolis reach out to me? I'll tell you why, Cam. Because we've seen enough of Cam Newton. We saw you with the New England Patriots. You sucked. But you came out and you talk about Drake May and you took shots at Drake May on the season he's having. Okay? Everything. You got a problem with everybody, Cam. Why don't you just keep your mouth shut? Why are you opening your mouth? Phillip Rivers didn't throw you under the bus on all the garbage that comes out of your mouth. Cam, you don't even know what you're talking about half the time. But you speak like you know everything. That's the problem. Unfortunately, Cam Newton is a person that you just don't want to like. And Phillip Rivers, every time he speaks and he gives you the energy, you want to like him. You want to root him on. So the difference between both of them is he's a guy that you want to hate and a guy that you want to love. And who are you going to bring in? The guy that you want to love. So my thoughts to Cam Newton and his garbage and bringing up the fact that they should have reached out to him or why not him? Here's the reason why. Cam, you couldn't throw the ball. You were an inaccurate quarterback. At best, you were a running quarterback. You were a fullback at the quarterback position, trampling over people because you're 6'4" and 250 pounds. That's what you were. You were never a throwing quarterback. I don't care if you won a national championship with Auburn. I don't care if you went to a Super Bowl and won an MVP. To me, you were one of the most overrated quarterbacks of this era. So that's the reason why. You have a Hall of Fame quarterback in Phillip Rivers and no shame, all talk, Cam Newton. And I don't call him a quarterback. I call him a big mouth, attitude-driven piece of you-know-what. So my deuce of the day goes to Cam Newton, and I don't want to hear him. I don't want to hear him anymore on any show and his complaining about quarterback play and what he knows about the position. Because guess what? You're not a quarterback anymore, and all you are is a media guy that doesn't shut the you-know-what up. So there you go.
Unfortunately, Daryl Reed's something came up for him, so he's not going to be able to make
No
it.
Daryl Reed tonight.
Yeah, he just told me and apparently texted Nathan too. Both of
Oh, that sucks. Yeah, that really, really sucks. So, all right. Well, no Daryl Reed tonight, ladies and gentlemen. We gotta work on this, boys. We definitely got to work on this, boys, because these guys, and I'm not taking shots at Daryl. He's got family, he's got everything, but we gotta make sure that we have to have a backup. If the guy accidentally, we need to have a backup. You know what? Call up Charlie. I want to get Charlie Slows on the show. Get Charlie on the show. When we come back, we're going to go to a sports minute. I'm going to see if I can get Charlie to join us. Charlie, unique individual. I'm sure he's got his own thoughts of what's going on right now in sports. We'll see if we can get Charlie Slows in when we come back. But first, our sports minute with the one and only Fish.
This is the Jabba and the Mouth Sports Minute.
All right, guys. Welcome to the Sports Minute. Aaron Fishman here. We got a couple of stories before we get into the scores this evening. The Baseball Hall of Fame announced on Wednesday that this year's recipient for the prestigious Ford C. Frick Award for Excellence in Broadcasting will be Joe Buck. Buck will be the 50th Frick Award winner and member of the Hall of Fame, joining his late father Jack Buck in the Hall. It's the only father-son duo enshrined. Buck, who's 56 years old, is the second youngest inductee ever, behind only Dodgers legend Vin Scully, who was inducted at age 54 back in 1982. I am shocked in many ways. I didn't think this was coming right now, Buck said. I was saying to the group that called to tell me that my best memory of my father as a Major League Baseball broadcaster was in 1987 in Cooperstown, New York, and what it meant to him, what it meant to our family to see him get the award, to see the joy and pride that he had for what he had done. Well, congratulations to this year's Frick Award winner, Joe Buck. Well, Eagles fans and local sports media certainly have got their panties up in a bunch these days, as the once immortal defending Super Bowl champions have been taken on the chin left and right as of late. Things got so bad on Monday Night Football for Jalen Hurts in the 22-19 OT loss. Head coach Nick Sirianni was forced to answer questions from WIP radio host Joe DeCamara about possibly benching Hurts after his 0-touchdown, 4-interception performance against the Chargers, bringing the Eagles' record to 8-5 on the season. I think that's ridiculous, Sirianni said. I know every time I go out on that field with Jalen Hurts as our quarterback, we have a chance to win the game. That's something that's been proven. We've won a lot of football games. And again, we don't ever go into something and assign blame. This is a team game. This is the most ultimate team game. You win together as a team, you lose together as a team. It's never just one thing. I know every time I walk out on that field and Jalen Hurts is a starting quarterback, I have so much confidence that we can win every game and any game that we play in and that heat that we're in. Sirianni's not wrong. Despite some deficiencies Hurts might have finding open receivers against more complicated looks like those of defensive coordinator Jesse Minter, hopefully the next Giants head coach, threw at him on Monday Night Football. But this guy has only 6 interceptions on the year after he just threw 4, so he only had 2 coming into the game. He's going to finish with over 3,000 yards passing, over 20-something touchdowns, and probably over 10 touchdown runs on the season. He's fine. But then again, go ahead, Philly, push him out of town. I'm sure Kenny Pickett will be available again this offseason. Only football action right now. We're in the second quarter here on Thursday Night Football. It's 7-7 Bucks and Falcons. Kyle Pitts has a touchdown in that one. In the NBA, only a couple of games in action tonight. It's halftime in Houston. It's 54-51 Clippers beating the Rockets right now. They were in Milwaukee. The Celtics have a 67-60 lead on the Bucks at the half. And just before the half, it's 68-65 Pelicans over Trailblazers. Still to come tonight, Kings and Nuggets. In hockey, a bunch of action. Maple Leafs 2, Sharks 1 with 14 left in the third period. Same time left in the third, 6-3 Lightning over the Devils in Jersey. It's 3-1 Islanders with a lead over the Ducks with 18 left in the third period. 11 left in the third, tied at 2 with the Flyers and Golden Knights in Philly. 1-1 with 12 left in the third as well in Washington between the Hurricanes and Capitals, between two really good teams right there. 15 minutes left in the third period. 5-3 Senators over the Blue Jackets. It's 4-0 Canadians over the Penguins. Only a couple of minutes left in the second. 14 left in the second. We got the Predators 2, Blues 1. 1-1 Wild and Stars. 14:30 left in the second there. 3-2 Bruins over the Jets. And no score. Oilers and Red Wings just underway. Still to come, Avalanche Panthers and Canucks Sabres. Guys, we are streaming live on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube on our Job on the Mouth handle, on Facebook under the Worldwide Sports Radio Network handle, and on Twitter under our host handle at ErrolMarks34. Keep downloading on Apple Podcasts and watch us both there and on Spotify. Now in video. Make sure you like and subscribe all our shorts, reels, TikToks, and longer videos you see from us throughout the week. Now back to Errol, Jabba, and Speedy for our next segment on Jabba and the Mouth.
Any questions?
What is this? We're back. This is the Jabba and the Mouth Show.
Next 672-3108. I love this track, you know? Little Jai Rule. Here we go. Let's love.
Got to do.
Wrote the whole song down. Like this, it's a little deep. 631. 672-3108 is the number to call. You're listening to Jabba and the Mouth.
Baby.
I'm the host, the one and only Errol Marks, my co-host, Jabba Chamberlain, and Speedy Petey. Executive producer who's trying to sing over there, who's a little out there in his voice of reason.
It's the Ja Rule voice.
No, he doesn't. If he sings like that, I wouldn't listen to him.
He's
and yes, Tommy Poops on the board as always. At the back end, we have the N-Arm himself, Mr. PR man himself, Mr. Nithin. How do you pronounce his last name? I always Ramachandra.
Ramachandra.
Ramachandra. As
I could be wrong. Maybe you're right. Maybe we should bring him in to ask him.
Well, let me finish. Hold on. Let me finish it. Remember, you can go to our website at www.worldwidesportsradio.com. Check out all our shows throughout the week, including Jabba in the Mouth every single Mondays and Wednesdays at 7:30 p.m. All you have to do to tune in and check out our local listings for all our shows is go to our website at www.worldwidesportsradio.com. All right, Nith, let's hear you. Come on in. Where did he go?
What's up, guys? This is how you pronounce it. Ramachandra.
Oh, you were right.
Yeah.
Well, actually, he said Chandra. I made it more like a SH, so we were both wrong.
It's Ramachandra. Jabba, can you say it? Speedy, can you say it?
Ramachandra.
Yeah, there you go.
Could you do it 3 times?
It's like Chimichanga, but Ramachandra.
Like Beetlejuice.
Ramachandra.
Oh, this is my new graphic. Oh, nice.
We know you care a lot.
I love Lisa Ed. Yeah, oh my God.
I need a blow pop.
Oh my God.
This
is too good. This is funny. Oh, Fish, you got to send me this one.
Cocktail.
I'll send it to you, Nith.
Nithin is a Care Bear, ladies and
You
gentlemen.
are a Care Bear, Nithin. A camo Care Bear of the Blue Blazers.
Oh my God.
Doo-doo. Carl plays with himself.
As he always does.
I'm putting you on a least now.
Breaking
news. I got to go back off now.
He whacks off all the time, ladies and gentlemen. Very much so.
Yeah.
And by the way, every time I call Nithin, the first thing he says is butt plug. And I'm like, why do you do this all the time? Every time I call him, he says butt plug. I mean, could you imagine calling a person and you want to have a serious conversation with somebody, and the first thing you hear from him is
butt plug.
That's what you hear. That's what you hear every single time. Every single time, ladies and gentlemen. As he
A lot of hot ladies.
he loves the ladies, or
Breaking news. I need Brittany also.
as well, no,
I mean,
a little perverted.
he could just be practicing how to enunciate certain letters. You never know.
That's true. As
I want to hit it.
he wants to hit it for. He wants Speedies.
I want her melons.
There you go.
Anyways, Nithin, one thing I've always wanted to ask you, like, where's your family from?
India. Yeah.
Do you want to jerk me off?
Definitely. That was a nice segue, but yeah, that's great.
We said.
Thumb up my ass.
Oh my God! When we all get together, we're going to the strip club.
That's going to be one of these. Like, yeah, Nithin, we'll meet you right inside. We'll see you there. It's just around the corner.
All right, so we went to the Super Bowl, and we were in New Orleans, and we were walking through what would we call that?
French Quarter.
French Quarter, and when you're in French Quarter, there's so many strip bars. So me, Nick, it was Tommy, Speedy, and we were walking through the French Quarters. People, they come and they grab you. They want to bring you into the strip bars. So Tommy and it's with Nick and obviously it's Nick and Fish, and I'm in between, and then there's Tommy and Speedy. So Speedy he was drinking, but he wasn't drinking a lot. And then Tommy decides they pull us in and say, "Oh, $5, you can come in for $5." So Tommy just walks right in. Okay, he just
don't mind if I do.
Don't mind if I do.
$5.
$5, and then Speedy just they grab Speedy. These girls bring him in. Okay,
Nice.
So I go to Nick, and I go to Fish, and I'm like, "You guys gonna come in? I can't leave these two. I leave these two guys. This guy,
We went and got chicken fingers.
They went to get chicken fingers. So I
So
go in.
Willie's cock. Wasn't that what it was called? Willie's cocks.
Well, I don't know what it was called, but
I don't know what you're talking about, but
but
wasn't that what it was called? The chicken place. At like the daiquiris, like Willie's cock. No,
whatever.
never mind. Whatever.
Willie's order. But anyways, so he goes in. So Speedy goes to the bar. And funny story. And by the way, we are going to have Charlie Slows join us. He will be joining us. He's at the he's right now at dinner, but he's coming. So he goes in. So Tommy walks right in, and he just walks right in, and these girls come up, and they're trying to grab me, and I'm trying to look. So I know how to do it. You don't look at their faces, because if they look at you and they see that you're staring at them, they're coming right to you. So I'm looking down, and Speedy's at the bar, and there's a bartender, and there's a girl like rubbing against Speedy's leg, wrapping her legs around Speedy.
Nathan just went.
Let's go.
So Speedy's standing there, and the bartender says, "What do you want to get?" So Speedy orders a drink, and then what happens is he's buying them drinks too, because they're not telling him. So he buys the bartender a drink, and he buys her a drink. Automatically, he spends like $50.
It was like 30.
Whatever it was. Speedy, how do you remember? You better shut up, because you
$30 and a pint of blood.
You're a little chicken.
First of all, the fact that you even said it, Speedy is going to remember exactly what number that was.
Yeah, well, he's
hard.
He shouldn't be saying anything, because he's a chicken. Okay, so we're standing there. Tommy goes on his way, but he realizes that going upstairs, it's going to cost $1,500. And as soon as Tommy hears $1,500, he jets out of there. Okay. And Speedy, this girl's rubbing on Speedy's leg, and I'm grabbing, and so she tells me, "Oh, your friend wants to go upstairs." And I say, "No, he doesn't." And he says, and he's looking at me, and Speedy gives me his poor little eyes. "Help me, help me." And I'm sitting there, he remembers a thing. Let me remember this. So I'm looking at him, and she grabs him. I grab him by his shirt.
This is Bourbon Street.
And I grab him by his arm, and I'm pulling him, and I pull him over to me, and I go to the girl, and I say, "He doesn't want to go upstairs, and he's not going upstairs. We're getting out of here." And she says, "No, you go upstairs. Oh, $1,500. I was like, "Yeah, you can take your $1,500 and shove it up your ass." That's what I said to her. And I grabbed him. I walked outside. And I said, "Serves you right." And I looked at him. I said, "You shouldn't have went inside." He went inside in his own thoughts and own reason when I told him not to do it. And Speedy, he's scarred from it. He thinks that all strip bars are like that. They're all going to pull you in and drain you and stuff like that, which is not true. It was just Bourbon Street. And I told him, I said, "It serves you right. Now, next time when I tell you no, no is no." So he learned his lesson very quickly. And then Tommy, as soon as he heard $1,500, this guy jets out of here, because he thought he was going to get a lap dance for free.
Tommy thought he had a Groupon, and it didn't work out.
Yeah, it was a Groupon, all right. Speedy learned the lesson pretty quickly, didn't he? Didn't you, Speedy?
Speedy came into the chicken place that me and Goody were sitting in, like white as a ghost. Like
almost cried.
He was like completely shook, because he got out of there. Errol, I think, saved his life that night. Speedy might have had organs harvested that night.
If he got caught, they were bringing him upstairs, and he would have spent $1,500, because they were going to drain his ass.
To start for $1,500 just to get started.
Yeah. So I saved his ass. I saved his ass, and I told him, I said, "It serves you right. Next time when I tell you not to go in, it means not to go in." Because they tried to pull me in, and I was like, "Nah, I'm not going in there." I know if I walk through that door, it's trouble. And I did it. And I watched this guy over here, because he walked in, no problem. Walked right in. Tommy walked right in, like, "No problem. $5? Yeah, sure, I'll do that." Yeah. He goes in there, and as soon as the girl's rubbing, and I was like, "Tommy, don't wander off. They're going to get you." And he's like, "Yeah, I got it. As soon as they told the $1,500, he jetted out of there as quick as possible. And there were like 7, 8 girls coming up to me trying to get me to do whatever they wanted me. I was like, "Get away from me." I told him, I was like, I know your spiel. I know how you are. So I was like, and Speedy was getting in. Yeah, this girl was pretty hot. This girl was pretty hot. She was rubbing the hottest girl in there. Speedy had. She was the hottest girl in there by far. And she was like rubbing on him and all this other stuff.
Nice.
Speedy.
I'm just glad that we survived the ordeal. It was a little touch and go there for a little while that night.
Oh,
Because that was the same night, Errol, that there was that reporter who was murdered and chopped up or something, right? The serial killer or something. It was a sports guy down there for like Telemundo or something like that.
Yeah.
And that was that night. It was that night. I feel like, though, we're kind of glossing over the fact, Nathan, like, I feel like if you would have walked into this place, it would have been like the Cheers bar, like everybody knew your name.
No.
No,
This is what
but then we would have just put it all on Nathan's credit card at that point.
And Nathan would have pulled out his father's credit card, and he would have
Everybody knows your name.
My own credit card. Okay, I have my own credit card.
Do you have a black card for those type of things?
I have a mileage plus card, whatever you call that.
Plus.
Yeah.
Daddy.
But
I'm not pulling my black card out for any of you guys.
I had to explain to my wife, just because the card is black does not mean it's a black card. And it's something that we had to work through the first couple of years.
I think I left early, right back to the hotel after the restaurant.
I did take a shit.
You did leave early that night. You did leave. I remember. That was lucky for you too, because again, there was a mass murderer out there.
Yeah.
Smell my ass.
If there's anybody that's going to go into a masked murderer's hotel room, it's Nathan. Absolutely Nathan. Mr. Care Bear himself.
Nathan would try to talk him down and be like, hey, no, we're okay. Like, we can figure this out.
Nathan would come to us like, hey, that's my guy. He's a
good friend of mine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know him. Yeah, I met him last night. Yeah, he was at that party I was at. Yeah, that's him.
Yeah, Bundy. Ted Bundy. He's an awesome guy. He's my guy. I'll hook him up with you.
I held hands. I held hands when he was in the electric chair. Yeah,
my God.
Oh, Charlie Starkweather? Yeah, we're good. We're good.
John Wayne Gacy? Yeah, him and me were buddies.
I will tell you something. My dad was in the prison for 30 years.
Oh my God.
And he walked a man to the electric chair.
Oh.
I'm sure.
Well, my dad rolled, he walked.
Your father was one unique individual, man.
He is the best. It's so funny, and I miss Dad every day. And like but it's crazy. I've seen the electric chair more times than I can count, because I used to park my dad's scooter, because when Dad could walk before, he became to the scooter all the time, that I would park it in. It was the storage room, but it was the viewing room for the electric chair. So sometimes the curtains would be open, and I would see it all the time. And I was like, it's exactly what you think it would be. It's exactly what you think it would be. And it was crazy. And I was a sophomore in high school, and he was with Walkin' Willie Ote for, I think, 17 years. And his one last request was, like, other than his food and all the other stuff, was that my dad was like, I'll take you in there, but I can't see it.
Oh my God. Oh.
And that was one of the games my dad missed. I was a sophomore in high school. We were playing East High School. I'll never forget it. And one game my dad missed was to be there for Willie.
I would never put anything next to an electric chair when I know people were killed.
I mean, but that was just like normal for me, because that's just what I did, like, for Dad. Like, I didn't think it was any different, like, and it's nuts. But yeah, Dad did it.
Well, speaking of tears, we've got Save Your Tears.
Mom, what's one thing that you can't talk to me about?
My sexual fantasies.
It's not ideal, but if it's what means, it is not ideal, but if it's not ideal, but if it is what means. You can't triple stamp a double stamp. You can't triple stamp a double stamp, boy. You can't triple stamp a double stamp. Boy, you guys, enough.
Now, it's time for Save Your Tears.
All right, guys, welcome back to Save Your Tears, everyone's favorite fantasy game where we pick different categories of players with a $15 salary cap. We're going to be doing Week 15 right now. The standings of Save Your Tears heading into Week 15 of the season. In first place, we have Speedy Petey with 31 points. We have Jabba Chamberlain. Oh, wait, sorry, not yet Jabba. We have Nathan with 25 points in second. Tommy with 20 in third. Errol with 18 in fourth. Jabba, you won last week. We owe Jabba some compliments, guys, before we get started. He's in fifth with 12. I have 10 in sixth. Jarrett, who could not be here because he's doing some wrestling stuff tonight, is in seventh with 9. And Goody has played a couple of times. He's got a point. Guys, here we go. Well, before we get started, let's bring this down. Let's give Mr. Chamberlain his due real quick. Jabba, I'll start off. I don't remember what the order was, but I got to tell you, it was an incredible job by you last week, making those wins. Jump in the standings. You jumped 2 spots in the standings. This time of the year, it's, it's playoff chase time. And I don't really know exactly what you're going to win by getting into the playoffs, but it's about the competition. It's about the process. And everybody who's been a fan of you, myself included, knows that that's what you're all about. Way to continue being you, man. We love you. Congratulations. All right, let's move it on. Keep it moving. Speedy Petey.
All right. It is fitting for you to win in a week, Java, on the same week that, due to unfortunate circumstances, that Biff Poggi was named the new Michigan head coach. Nebraska is alum, but you beat me out barely. Looking at the grid, I had to trust LSU's guy, not Nebraska's guy, Brian Thomas, and you trusted Michael Pittman, who was not an LSU guy. That's for you, Goody, to be able to win this week. But very good. You beat my analytic knowledge this time around, and have fun picking the order of who gets to go first.
All right. So I'm going to go next. Jabba, I got to say, I don't remember the team that you picked. I don't remember whatsoever where I finished or how many points you scored, but it was good enough to be reigning champion over all of us, man. I love this. Save Your Tears is personally one of my favorites. And whenever we get to actually coincide together and defeat Errol and get number 1, hey, it's always a win. Nobody puts in the pain with Omaha, Nebraska. Hey, over there. Nobody puts in the pain with Omaha, Nebraska like you. So, hey, congrats, Mr. Jabba Chamberlain.
All right. Nathan.
Yeah, Jabba, congrats.
Hey, do I need to fall asleep for this one?
Come on, Jabba. Hey, I'm giving you Jabba, you're a champion on the field, off the field, even a champion here. Congrats. You deserve it. I don't know. I don't even know what you picked, but well deserved. And it's been great working with you.
Jabba likes my shrimp cock.
And I watched you grow. I watched you pitch when I was a fan, but now working with you.
Jabba is not an athlete.
So great job, Jabba, and glad that I'm here with you guys. So.
This thing.
All right, and last but not least, Mr. Errol Marks.
All right, Jabba.
51% positive, Errol.
Well, there's a lot of luck in this. I'm just kidding. All right. Oh wow, Mike Evans just got slammed on his back. Woo! Oh, that hurts. Anyways, Jabba, congratulations. Very well deserved. It's not every day you win, so you got to win one way or another. You got to pull off a win one way or another, and why not pull up a win in a week where I lost 8 games. Congratulations, very well picked on your roster, and congratulations.
All right, that was some old news. Let's get to the new news. Here's the board for this week. The games that we're picking from for week 15: Giants, Commanders, Ravens, Bengals, and Lions, Rams. So if you're listening at home, I'm going to read off the board for you, but we are available in video, both on Apple and Spotify. If you guys haven't seen us there in video, check us out as well as every time you see us all throughout the social medias and on YouTube. Give us a subscribe and share. All right, $5 quarterback. We got Matthew Stafford, Joe Burrow for 4, Jared Goff at 3, Jackson Dart's coming back for 2, and here's an interesting buy, Lamar Jackson for $1. It's been a tough season for Lamar. At running back, $5 running back Jahmyr Gibbs, probably going to be the offensive player of the year, the way things are going right now. Him or JSN probably. Derrick Henry at $4. Karen Williams for 3. Never know with him in that timeshare with Blake Corum. Tyrone Tracy's at $2. And I just wrote Bill for $1. Yes, that's Bill Jacory Krosky Merritt from the Commanders. At wide receiver 1, and again, you got to pick it from this column. Wide receiver 1 is Puka Nacua, the $5 player, followed by Amon-Ra St. Brown. Pretty loaded at receiver this week, guys. T. Higgins for 3, Zay Flowers for 2, and a pretty good season from Wan'Dale Robinson could be gotten for $1 in that column. At wide receiver 2, Jamar Chase leads the $5 column there, followed by Devontae Adams. Scary Terry McLaurin for $3. He's never killed the Giants before. Jameson Williams only for 2, and guy who has maybe no hands, Darius Slayton for $1. At tight end, little slim pickings this week at tight end. Mark Andrews for 5, Theo Johnson for 4, Mike Gesicki for 3, Colby Parkinson for 2, and rounding it out, John Bates for $1. Jabba, you decide the order. Who's going first?
Poops.
All right, Tommy, what we got?
All right, I'm going to go with Joe Burrow. Give me Jahmyr Gibbs. Oh, I know. Jahmyr Gibbs, Higgins, Jameson Williams, and then I should have $1, so we're going John Bates.
All right. Giants usually suck at guarding tight ends. Probably a smart move. I got Burrow, Gibbs, Higgins, Jameson, and Bates. Who's next, Jabba?
Nith.
The Nith.
Let's go. All right, I got Jared Goff. I got my guy Tyrone Tracy Jr. I got Amon St. Brown. No, sorry, T. Higgins. I got Terry Devontae Adams. And then I'm gonna go.
Speedy, help him out with the math.
Is it
St. Brown? You took Burrow.
No, he's got Devontae so he's got Adams for 4, Higgins for 3, that's 7, Tracy 2, that's 9, Goff. You have $3 left, Nathan.
Okay. I'm gonna go Mike Gesicki.
All right, Gesicki. So I got you, Nathan, at Goff, Tracy, Higgins, Adams, and Gesicki. Jabba, where are we going?
You're up next, my man.
All right, let's do it. I am going to go with Jackson Dart, Giants future legend, for $2. I'm going to spend a bunch of money on Gibbs for 5. I am going to spend not a lot of money on Wan'Dale Robinson for $1. By the way, has better numbers than Justin Jefferson this year, Errol. Everyone was taking him like first receiver this year. Nope.
Oh, that's because
I know, but you got to remember that who's throwing, right? Then we got so how much do I have? That's 8. So I got plenty of money left. I got $7 for these last 2. Yeah, give me Scary Terry. The Giants have never stopped him in the history of his career. And that gives me $4 for the only guy. The only 2 targets are Wan'Dale and Theo. I'm going to take Theo Johnson. All right, I got Dart.
Big Fish froze.
Fish is gone.
Fish is out here.
And Fish is gone.
All right, there he is. There he popped it in. Oh. He popped it in.
Sorry about that, guys. It just completely shut down on me. Let's keep the music rolling. Jabba, I'll pop it up in 1 second for you. It's just going to take 1 minute to get rebooted. Don't really know what happened there, but that's what happens when you go live TV, right? So here we go. Let's get back to the screen. Here it is. We'll pause it for you. Jabba, who's up next?
Speedy.
Speedy.
Right.
It's no cooch.
So I'm going to go for the first time I think ever that I've done Save Your Tears. I'm actually going to take 2 5s, 2 2s, and a 1.
What about skid marks?
So give me Lamar, give me Gibbs, give me Puka, and the 2 2s, Jameson Williams and Parkinson.
Puka, Jameson, and Parkinson.
Who's Lamar playing this week?
Bengals.
I'm floating it out there. He just hasn't had a good week in a long time, but it's there sitting for you. Jabba, you or Errol?
Errol. All right, I'm going to go Lamar. I'm definitely going to go with him. Who are the Rams playing this week?
Lions.
The Lions. I'm gonna go definitely Puka. I'm definitely going with him. I am gonna go Jamar Chase. So what do we have right there?
You got $4 left.
Yeah, you got 4 left with 1 running back and 1 tight end.
I'll change Jamar Chase. I'll go Devon. No, because catch with 2 other safety, right?
You got to take a running back or a tight end. You got $4.
Because I'm trying to think of the numbers. I definitely want to go Puka. With the Lions are playing who again?
Rams.
All right. I'm gonna go St. Brown, and then I'm gonna go Jamar Chase, and then I'm gonna go Derrick Henry. How many do I
got 1 left?
I got 1 left. I'll go with Bates.
All right, so we got Henry and Bates. All right, so I got you Lamar, Henry, St. Brown, Chase, and Bates. Jabba, you're up.
I'm going to go Burrow, Derrick Henry, Wandell. That puts me at 9. And then I'm going to go Jameson Williams. And then Theo Johnson.
All right, and I got you for Burrow, Henry, Wandale, Jameson, and Theo. Let me share the screen. We'll just take a quick look at the full board for those of you who are following at home. Bring this down, bring this up. As you see, we got a couple of Mars, couple of Burrows there. We got 3 guys with Gibbs. Couple of Wandales, a lot of Higgins action here. Jameson Williams, very popular this week.
I gave up.
All over the place at tight end, guys. So again, the winner gets those compliments on Errol, I believe, next episodes. Next week. Guys, that's save your tears. If you don't like the results, you can't cry about it. You got to save your tears.
Nobody's got to save their tears. We're waiting for Charlie Slows. He will be joining us. He'll be joining us a little bit later. I would say probably in the next 10 to 15 minutes. We're going to talk a little baseball with him because he's got his own take on the Mets and everything that's going on at the baseball. Well, was going on at the baseball meetings. He's got some inside stuff. So I'm sure Charlie has some information. All right. Why don't we go? Fish's play of the week.
This is great about sport. You play to win the game. Hello? You play to win the game.
His play of the week.
Another toe job. Yeah.
All right, guys, welcome back to Fish's play of the week. Guys, I usually give you a really cool play, something that's a little innovative X's and O's wise. I'm not always just trying to take the big catch here. That's not really what I'm about. I like to see things schemed up. I coach football, and this week I'm going to be giving you guys a play. That's something that I see a lot while I'm coaching, and it's something that's been around the game for a very long time. Let's start it off right here with the 65-yard touchdown by Tony Pollard this past week. For some reason, we're glitching. Let me bring it off and bring it back on. It's just not working for me tonight for some reason. But here we go. Tony Pollard, we get a block downfield from Van Jefferson. That's what most people saw on this play. What I don't know is why people only look at the end and the celebration. Why don't you care about what's happening that made that guy score? Well, that's what we're going to do here on Fish's Play of the Week. Take a look at the formation. This is a 4-4 defense, 1 high safety. This is going to be cover 1, cover 3. This is what you see at high school football, JV football. It's what the Browns are playing. So the Browns have a guy at the top of the screen named Myles Garrett, who kind of cleans up everything else, so they're probably playing a little bit differently. Looks like you have a 2-eye technique on this side of the ball. That's going to be the fatal mistake on this play, because now the guard and center are uncovered to the front side. Watch both of them pull to the right on what I would call the Vince Lombardi sweep adjusted for today. Pull the uncovered lineman or both guards. Sometimes we call it a buck sweep. Usually a buck sweep, it's to a wing back. We have the wing over here, but if you notice, we got tight end wing on one side, we got split end wing on that side, and there's a tailback behind Errol on the screen. That's Tony Pollard. That's called a wing T, guys. This is wing T football in the NFL in 2025. Watch the play a little bit. And the reason why this play works, the Titans may suck And we know that they suck. But they got a couple of really good young tight ends. Take a look at the tight end on the ball and the tight end off the ball, who's going to block Myles Garrett one-on-one on this play. As the play starts, it's a typical wing T blocking scheme. Block down. If you're uncovered, go up to linebacker. You'll see the two tackles, or the tight end on the front side, number 84. That's Gunnar Helm, their young tight end. And their left tackle, go up to the second level. Tony Pollard is going to take it really flat because, Myles Garrett's there. So they're going to take it really flat to the outside. Those two pulling linemen pick up the two guys right there. That's exactly what you want. But there should be a safety coming over to help. Unfortunately for them, Gunnar Helm blocks both of them with one hand and shoves them both to the ground. And now Tony Pollard is off to the races. And then we have that great run block downfield by Van Jefferson. Yes, that Van Jefferson, he's still around. Guys, what a awesomely blocked, one of the most old school plays in the book. The Lombardi Buck sweep this week on Fish's Play of the Week.
Oh my God!
Oh, what a day. What a day. Yeah. All right. There we go. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, we call this Speedy's six-pack of the week.
Let's have a sixer.
Hey, who wants to play Drink the Beer?
It's time for the Speedy Six-Pack of the Week.
A lot of hot ladies.
Well, there won't be any hot ladies in these picks. Sorry, Nathan. I hate
Smell my ass.
But we
Yum.
we do have some big guys. Chad is with us, and Johnny should be with us in a few minutes. Start it off here. We will start with this AFC East pool. So we'll go with me. Chad, you'll follow me after that, and we'll go with Fish. We'll go with Java, and then Errol to round it out. The Bills at the Patriots. The Bills are 1.5-point favorites at home. I think the Patriots got to lose at some point. I'm going to take Buffalo in this spot. They've looked very good the last few weeks after losing to the Dolphins. Give me Buffalo to cover this spread. Chaz, back on the six-pack for the first time in a while. I know Wednesdays were tough for you.
Yes. Wednesdays are tough for me.
What do you got in this game, Chaz? Pats or the Bills?
Pats or the Bills? The Pats are. I have. I'm halfway through. That's why I'm not done. So I'm not done handicapping. I've got a pretty complicated handicapping system because I'm a numbers guy. But I have a round robin going, and Patriots team total over is the play.
All right. I'm going to take the Bills in this one as just far as the spread and in general. I think the Patriots have benefited from quite an easy schedule. I'd like to see them really go against the Bills when they're trying to be a playoff team. I think you're going to see the best of Josh Allen in this game. Give me the Bills.
The Cohen.
We got it. I'm doing a real one this week, boys.
Oh, nice.
Tails.
All right.
I'm on the Bills as well.
Well, wait. Did I miss something? Because I don't know the rules. What's tails and what's heads?
Heads is home, tails is away.
They said that's all I needed. Thank you.
Errol.
All right, we got the Bills and who?
The Patriots in New England.
In New England?
Yep.
I got the Bills winning.
Okay. Next, we'll go to the Chargers at the Chiefs. The Chiefs are 5.5-point favorites at home. Kind of a desperation game for the Chiefs. I do think the Chiefs do win the game, but I don't think they cover 5.5 points. The Chargers defense still looked really good. So I think Kansas City wins, but the Chargers cover.
Chaz, to you.
Yeah, it is. How could you bet anything on Kansas City? It's not with my money.
Yeah, I kind of feel the same way. I think the Chiefs' magic is over. I'm not giving them a 5.5 points.
That seems sick. That seems like a sick number.
I don't understand that number. I'm taking the Chargers and the points. I think the Chargers probably win this anyway. To the coin.
I'm on the opposite, boys. Head's always at home.
Mr. Marks.
Who did Java take?
Java is on the Chiefs. 5.5 points.
5.5.
There are.
I hate that.
I'm going to go Kansas City because they need to.
All right, we'll go to the one wacky big spread. We were talking about it earlier. Our boy,
I got to go back off now.
boy Phillip Rivers, Errol, they are 13.5-point underdogs at Seattle. It's weird, though. I do think it's a lot of points for a team.
Sauce is coming back this week, too.
There's a possibility of that. And the Colts, the Seahawks offense has been kind of shaky in recent weeks outside of Njigba. I think the Colts cover the spread. Seattle will win the game, but I think Indy does cover the spread.
How bad is the flooding out there? Did you guys see that? That's got to impact something, right, with this game, doesn't it? I don't know what it is, but that's one of my. So I have a round robin going with team totals, and the next one is Seattle.
I think Seattle wins this game by many points. Give me the Seahawks.
Bam, I got tails too, baby.
And Java on the Colts covering.
I want the Colts to win. I would like to see Phillip Rivers just like chew the ear off of Sam Darnold after the game, but I don't think that's going to happen. I got Sammy baby in Seattle winning. Give me Seattle.
All right. The Packers, 2.5-point favorites on the road at the Denver Broncos. Another case where I just think the Broncos have to lose at some point. They're just like the Patriots. They're too hot. Their offense still has been kind of up and down. Packers have looked good. They would probably be, outside of the Rams and Seahawks, the next best team in the NFL right now for me. Give me Green Bay here.
Yeah, again, this is what I think I'm done. This is my last game that I have something for. I got Denver's team total over.
I feel like the Packers, like, you watch them and they're awesome the last couple of weeks, but every so often they have this game where you're just like, what the hell are they doing? I think it's this week. Give me Denver.
All right, don't let me down. Carter will let me down. Come on, Coin. I got the home squad.
And Java's on his son's team.
I've got the Pack. I think the Pack wins this week. I think Jordan Love has an unbelievable week this week. 40-point week. Give me Jordan Love and the Pack.
All right, we'll go to Sunday Night Football. The Vikings at the Cowboys. Dallas is 6-point favorites in this one. It is a pretty big spread for a primetime game, but I am going to take Dallas here. I think they bounce back. They played well enough to win against the Lions last week in the second half. I'll take the Cowboys here to win and cover.
So this is a game that I've got notes for. Here's what it says. It says Dallas at home has allowed 20 points to every single team that's coming to Dallas for 2 straight seasons. Every single team has scored 20 points. Only 2 teams that haven't scored 13 or more in half one were New Jersey and Vegas. And if you think about it, right, that shouldn't surprise you that those 2 teams don't score. However, I have no idea how that's going to help in this game. It's 5.5 points. I mean, I don't want to take Dallas, but I just can't take Minnesota right now.
Yeah, I don't know what to do with this Minnesota team. They get shut out one week and then they dominate the next week. It's really hard to understand. For me, at least with the Cowboys, you know that what they have a chance at. You know, they still can get in the playoffs. The Eagles are leaving that window open for them. I think they're going to go after it this week. Give me the Cowboys.
Ooh, this one's a tough one. I got
All right, Java is on the Vikings to cover.
Anybody but the Vikings. You know my answer.
All right. Before we get to our last game, we got another betting guy back from his vacation in Mexico.
Oh, there he is. He's back. He made it in one piece.
Oh, we made it. I don't know about one piece.
So, Johnny, I hope
hope
you had a good trip. And we had 5 games we got to, and we'll get to the Let's Parlay one in just a bit. Johnny, the first one we had was the Bills at the Patriots. The Bills are 1.5-point favorites on the road.
Give me the Billies. Give me the Billies. I'm not a believer in the Patriots.
All right, we got the Chargers at the Chiefs. Chiefs 5-point favorites at 5.5-point favorites at home.
Give me the Chargers. I don't care how cold it is. Give me the Chargers.
All right, we got the big spread of the 13.5 points against the potentially Phillip Rivers-led Colts for the Seattle Seahawks. Seahawks 13.5 points.
big Phillip Rivers guy here. I'm not sure about Phillip Rivers at 44 years old, but much props to him. And I'm never going to lay 13. I rarely lay 13 in the NFL. I'll take the Colts.
All right, the Packers are 2.5-point road favorites against the Broncos.
You want my cream pie?
And not really a believer in the. I'm not. Patriots and the Broncos are my two teams that I do not believe in, so I'm going to fade that as well. Take the Packers.
All right, and then your former team, the Dallas Cowboys, 6-point home favorites to the Vikings.
Made my nipples
Yeah, we
hard.
kind of jumped back on the bandwagon there after a couple good wins. I was letting everybody know, but we're back off them. Looking for a new team, but right now, give me the Cowboys.
All right,
Like
and
the
then
streaks in my britches.
I'll go. Johnny, you'll go right after Chaz. Chaz can go second in this order. We'll finish off with the Lions at the Rams. 5.5-point favorites. The Rams are. I'm going to take the Rams in this spot too. The Lions too many injuries.
The Rams have been the best team in football by my eyeballs for a while.
All right, Johnny, what do you got?
I'm actually going to take the Lions in this spot. Are the Lions that bad? I don't think so. I think their offense can score. I think getting points, keep it close. They may lose the game, but I do think this game is a lot closer. Maybe a late field goal to win the game.
Diarrhea down their leg.
What's the spread?
Rams 5.5.
Go suck on an egg and
I think you got to take Lions here. I think it's that's a lot of points against a really good team. I think even if it's not a cover, they don't win. I think they cover that. Give me the Lions.
my pecker hard.
Coin. Got tails. We're in the booty.
Pulled it out of my ass.
Rams are 5.5-point favorites against the Lions. All right, that's all I got for that.
Yep, the Ramos, the Ramstees, the Ramdy Damdies. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So we're gonna have 4 minutes to get these guys their 4 top picks. As everybody knows, they give you their 3 top ones, and then they give you their parlay. You guys ready? Call this Let's Parlay.
It's time for Let's Parlay.
All right, boys. So we haven't had you two on at the same time in a while. It's an interesting time. No Worldwide Wes. He's enjoying himself over there in Kansas City, or I don't know. The loneliness of Taylor Swift, as the Swifties might not be planning or planning to go to. Anyways, so we're going to go Reno Johnny, then we're going to go Chaz, all the way through to their 4 picks. All right, Reno, give us your number 1.
You're muted.
Number 1.
I'd take shit.
You're muted.
You're muted.
Another toe job.
You're muted.
I'm not muted. Can you hear me?
Now you're good.
Yeah, I don't think I was muted. I think I bet it every year. Army Navy. It is habitual for me. If the game's there, I gotta bet it. I think this is kind of a steal for an over at 38.5. This line really is what it's like every year, around the 30s, 37, 38. But this Army team can throw the ball a little bit more. I think both teams actually throw the ball a little bit more. They kind of air it out just a little bit. So you might get a game that doesn't move as quickly. I do think both teams can score. I think this Army team is a lot better than they started the year as. I think this is over 38. You can find a 38. I bet it all the way up to 39, 39 and a half if you can.
All right, Chazzy, give us your number 1.
All right, so I have the New England Patriots team total over 24.5. Remember, I'm not done, but I was close enough to be able to go with a round robin. Now, this is the time I have to mention because you forgot to remind me. We all saw Portnoy go off, right?
Yep.
That was a 5-teamer for me. I had Denver in the under, and I'm telling my son it's a bad beat. He goes, "Well, it's not that bad. I had a bad beat." So what happened with him, and the reason I want to bring it up is I want your guys' opinion. There's 3 of you, so it'll be whoever 2-1, whoever wins. He said it was his worst bad beat. It was the BYU game. BYU was winning and covering, but they weren't covering the teaser, and he had the teaser. He pays bigger tickets than I do. He's not Johnny, GMF tickets, But and then they didn't kneel, and they ran and he scored, and he lost his teaser. And then I had, so I don't know what Porno had. I just saw the rant. I don't know if he just had Denver or he had, but it cost, the side and the total on that one field goal was after a penalty was just mind-boggling. But I was so proud of myself because I didn't even swear. I was in such shock. And then I saw how he reacted, and I was even more proud of myself. But it was a 5-team round robin. Oh, it was brutal.
I was on the opposite side. I don't think it was a bad beat because I hit that. I will say the strategy.
No, the penalty is why it was a bad beat, right? The guy's on the ground. Just fucking let the clock run out.
Time out. We care about that because it was a 10-point game. Is that the rule? Because if it's a 7-point game, that's called. If it's a 3-point game,
I'm a football player. Listen to me. The guy's on the ground. There's no timeouts. They got no timeouts. Touch him. Just touch him, and then let the clock run out. That's what football players do. That's not what stupid people do. Stupid people do what that guy did, which is he flipped the ball and got a penalty for it.
And you know what? I always say this, and I'll get to my next pick. Good teams win, and the Broncos were a good team. Great teams cover, and that's what the Raiders did. They covered.
Go ahead, Reno. Give us your number.
Next game, we're going to head to the NFL, which, by the way, we're killing it tonight here in this Falcons game with two TDs for Pitts. That was a good little parlay ticket there for me. We're going to go to the Buffalo Bills. This is going to be one of my games I'm going to give out. I gave it out in the 6th pack. I think the Bills are going to win this game. They're not going to be deterred by weather. And I look at this Patriots team. I do give them credit. They had a good win in Buffalo, but outside of that win in Buffalo and a good win against a team that was kind of high in the Buccaneers, who the hell has this team beat? They really haven't beat anybody. They are not a good football team, in my opinion. People are talking about Drake May, but you know what? You can be, if you're an MVP quarterback too, if you can go against every 3-12 team in the NFL. I think they're overrated at this spot. I do think that you're going to get a Bills pretty much even money to win the game. I love the Bills in this spot, especially after losing. I don't care. They're on the road. They're not going to be deterred. Give me Joshy. Give me the boys in Buffalo. Bills Mafia. They win the game.
All right. Kaz, give us your number 2.
Jacksonville, team total over.
All right. Reno.
27.5.
I'm going to take a different way in the Colts game here. I think the Colts will score points. I'm not sure. I think 13 is a lot of points for them to cover. I like that as well, but I kind of already gave that out, so I want to do something a little bit different. I'm going to take the Colts to score their team total. I think they do have enough, especially with Jonathan Taylor. They'll get enough. You have a team total, guys, sitting around 13.5. 2 touchdowns. And one of them was 14.5. But you're telling me they can't score 15 points? They got ball players. They also got a good defense. I think their defense can maybe force a turnover or two, maybe get a short field, a couple field. I think it's just way too low of a total for me. I don't care. Brian Leonard, Phillip Rivers, I don't care. Give me the Colts team total.
All right, Chaz, give us your number 3.
Well, you're going to love this then, because I love to see that game be 37-36. I don't care who wins, because I got the other team total over, the Seahawks.
All right, final pick, Reno Johnny.
This is the game that is going to give me nightmares because I told myself I would not bet this game, but I'm going to do it. And I'm going to take Joe Cool. Joe Cool to win the game against Lamar Jackson. I will say this: they're out of the playoff run. The boys are just playing football. He's gonna play. They're gonna try to win the game. I don't think they care that they're out. Joe Burrow said it. I get paid millions of dollars to play this game. If I'm healthy, I'm gonna play. I love their offense. I'm still not sold on what this Ravens offense is. Defense isn't as good as it was last year. I think we get a higher scoring game. I can't bet 51, though. It's a little too much. But give me the Bengals to win this game on the money line. I'm not going to take the points. Give me the money line at about plus 125.
All right, Chaz, give us your final pick of the.
And I got to go with this guy.
Denver team total over.
All right, boys. It was wonderful to have you, Chazzy. I saw Reno Johnny jet out. I don't know what he's doing.
Yeah, he said I had to deal with the little guy.
All right.
What, did he give us 4 or just 3?
He gave us 4.
Yeah, he gave Bengals money.
Cincinnati. Yeah, okay. Yeah, you know what? I'm telling you right now. Any of these guys, I don't know how you found these guys. I really don't know how you found all the handicaps you have in your show. But any of these guys give you a ticket and you don't bet it, you're stupid. It's just that simple because they win a lot. You know the numbers. You've been keeping the numbers. So he gives out 4 teams. I throw it in a parlay. I usually do a round robin in case he goes 3-1. These round robins are great until, you have that Portnoy situation. But understand, the guy was down. They had no timeouts. The clock was going to run out. He ripped into the guy's stomach and pulled the ball out. For what reason? I have no idea. And that was it.
Go. We got a long show left. We appreciate
Petey, Saturday night, we'll give it another best bet winner. How's that sound? Yeah, buddy. Stay the trouble, guys.
Thank you, Chaz. Thank you, Reno.
Talk soon.
Fantastic. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go to a quick break. It's quick. And then we got Jabba Rules. And we have Charlie Slows joining us to talk some baseball. I asked him to come on. Darrell Reed couldn't join us, and he's been waiting really patiently in the back end. So when we come back, we got Charlie Slows, we got Jabba Rules, got some baseball. When we come back here on Jabba the Mouth.
The Jabba and the Mouth Sports Minute.
All right, guys. Aaron Fishman here with your Jabba and the Mouth Sports Minute. Got a couple of stories for you before we get through the scores this evening. The Fighting Irish are certainly living up to their name after raising a huge stink, getting snubbed by the College Football Playoff Committee from the 12-team playoff this year. Well, the fighting continues Thursday as multiple ADs are aligning against Notre Dame for their apparently preferential treatment as a non-conference school starting next season. Next year, if Notre Dame finishes the season in the top 12, they will be given an automatic playoff berth. This has more than rankled the status quo of college football, and earlier on Thursday, a report from Yahoo Sports' Dan Wolken states that the athletic directors around the NCAA are conspiring openly against Notre Dame, threatening to freeze them out of matchups with their schools so they won't be able to have a high enough ranking to make the playoffs. The treatment is certainly preferential, but one can argue, and it appears Notre Dame has argued this successfully to the NCAA at least, that the Irish are a national brand and should be put on TV over other programs that will bring in less revenue and fewer eyeballs to the product. Either way, get your popcorn ready. This story is only just getting going. Future Hall of Fame tight end Travis Kelce, in his usual honest, heart-on-his-sleeve fashion, went on his New Heights podcast Wednesday with his brother Jason and confessed that he has no answers for his fall-off in production and the team's season-long slump, which has put them on the precipice of missing the playoffs for the first time since Patrick Mahomes' rookie season when he backed up Alex Smith in 2014. They were 9-7 that year. This season has been clearly the worst season of the Mahomes-era Chiefs, and a lot of that is due to Father Time finally taking its toll on Kelce, who was once unguardable and unstoppable in tandem with Tyreek Hill in what seems like distant history. Looking back at the product on the field today, Kelce had drops on back-to-back plays late in the Chiefs' latest loss to the Texans, the second of which was picked off, killing Casey's comeback chances. I keep thinking if I show up to work and I put in the work and I fix the issues through practice, my practice habits, and through perfecting the game plan and my fundamentals and what I'm being taught, and go out there and try and play my ass off for the guys next to me, it's all going to come together like it has in years past. And this year, it is just not, man. Well, while this might be the end of the line for Travis Kelce, he has plenty of hardware to his name, he is a surefire Hall of Famer, and is marrying the most famous and one of the more wealthy women perhaps in the world. I think he'll be fine, even if this is the end of the line for one of the top 5 or so tight ends of all time. In Monday Night Football, we are in the second half, third quarter underway, 14-13. Atlanta Falcons have a 1-point lead on the Bucs. Kyle Pitts has 2 touchdowns in that game. In basketball this evening, 6 minutes left in the fourth quarter, 97-95 Rockets over the Clippers. It's 98-86 Bucks over the Celtics, 8 minutes left in the fourth there. 9 minutes left in the fourth, Pelicans 113, Trailblazers 101. Still to start at 10 o'clock tonight. Kings and Nuggets, I guess they just must be getting all going right now. And in the NHL, a bunch of games in action and a bunch of games already completed. 4-2 right now with just a minute and a half left in the third. Canadians about to finish off the Penguins. It's 6-2 at the beginning of the third. Predators over the Blues. Tied at 2, also beginning of third, Stars and Wild. It's 4-3, 14 left in the third. Bruins over the Jets. 2-0, Oilers over the Red Wings. 14 left in the second. 10.5 left in the first, tied at 1, Avalanche and Panthers. And just starting, Sabres and Canucks. Final in overtime earlier, Sharks beat the Maple Leafs 3-2. The Lightning all over the Devils today, 8-4. Islanders win again, 5-2 over the Ducks. 3-2 win for the Golden Knights in overtime over the Flyers. In a shootout, the Hurricanes beat the Capitals 3-2, and the Senators defeated the Blue Jackets 6-3. Guys, we are streaming live on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube on our Job in the Mouth handle, on Facebook under the Worldwide Sports Radio Network handle, and on Twitter under our host handle at ErrolMarks34. Keep downloading on Apple Podcasts and watch us both there and on Spotify. Now in video. Make sure you like and subscribe to all our shorts, reels, TikToks, and longer videos that you see from us throughout the week. Now back to Errol, Jabba, and Speedy for our guest on Jabba and the Mouth.
Any questions?
What is this? This is the Jabba and the Mouth Show.
I did one. 631-672-3108 is the number to call. You're listening to Jabba and Mouth. You know who I am. My name is Errol Marks, my co-host, Mr. Flamethrower, Jabba Chamberlain, and Speedy Petey. Remember, you go to our website at www.worldwidesportsradio.com. Check out all our shows throughout the week, including Jabba in the Mouth every single Mondays and Wednesdays at 7:30 p.m. All you have to do to tune in and check out our local listings for all our shows is go to our website at www.worldwidesportsradio.com. We have a very special guest, and before we get him in, we're going to do Jabba rules, and ladies and gentlemen, we're going to talk a little baseball with him because he is the best in the business at it. But this show is brought to you by Omaha Steaks. And ladies and gentlemen, they're giving you an extra 10% off on all orders to all Jabba in the Mouth fans. All you have to do is click the link, omahasteaks.com/Jabba in the Mouth, or go to our website at worldwidesportsradio.com and click the Omaha Steaks logo. Ladies and gentlemen, if you like your beef, you like it thick, you like it thin, you like it cut by Omaha style, Nebraska style. Speedy likes it thick. He likes it long. He likes it whatever. All you got to do is reach out to our click or our link, Jabba in the Mouth, on the Omaha Steaks, or you can go to our website. And ladies and gentlemen, you can get you 10% off for the holidays. Go to omahasteaks.com/Jabba in the Mouth and get your steaks. All right, Jabba. We got Charlie in. We're going to talk some baseball with him, but you've got something important to go into. We've got Jabba rules.
History in the making. Jabba rules.
Like the streaks in my britches.
I've always like Jabba rules now, and it's so awesome that you brought Charlie in for this, because this was one of those rules where I wanted to get into it, and obviously now having Charlie on is huge. But winter meetings are very anticlimactic for me this year, and we kind of knew what was going to happen in the names that we saw, but there wasn't anything that like struck me where it was surprising or anything, or any team did anything. And I don't know if that's because they're looking at what's going to happen with the CBA, or they're looking at that and as far as like certain things that are happening in the game and evolving. But for me, it was like the winter meetings were it didn't do much for me. I usually get excited around this time, like being a part of it and doing it and understanding like kind of what they do and like the back end that we don't see when, you know, guys are sliding in the back door and having meetings with the owners and the presidents and all the other stuff. But this year just didn't really do anything for me. And we got basically 3 big signings, kind of. Maybe Edwin to the Dodgers was a little bit surprising. But we didn't have a Tucker. We didn't have anybody else that we thought might happen. And so for me, what didn't rule in winter meetings was the winter meetings. I think it was very mundane and very boring. And Charlie, do you think the CBA is it affecting this as far as like all the things that are happening, or am I overthinking it?
Well, you triggered something that I read today. Trying to think who it was attributed to, but it was just kind of a group thing. And it's good to be back on with you guys, by the way. That the winter meetings used to be a bigger deal before social media and texting became such a big thing, because it was when people got in front of each other. And actually, now it's just like a shake of a hand and, but it's not like they don't see each other, talk to each other, because they're texting even while they're at the winter meetings, where it used to be like face to face made something happen. Now it's, I basically heard one GM who wasn't quoted say, we could not have the winter meetings and the same things would take place that took place. Maybe you wouldn't have had Pete Alonso drive from Tampa to Orlando to meet with Orioles people and seal the deal if there weren't winter meetings and he was driving an hour and a half from his home in the Tampa area to Orlando to do this. But they said, they're saying really deals are going to happen after the winter meetings are over, because everybody is texting all the time and talking all the time. And so it isn't like this big thing where you get everyone together and something huge is going to happen at that moment. And that's maybe what makes it different than what it used to be. We can blame it again on texting and social media.
It's so funny, and I want to get into the New York Mets, because we had our own take to it, Charlie, and there's a lot going on with the New York Mets over here. A lot of fans want to just completely drop the hammer on David Stearns and Steve Cohen. Your thoughts on the New York Mets in this absolute debacle?
Well, I can see, they signed Brandon Nimmo to a big deal, and maybe they thought that it wasn't going to project out the way they had hoped, and they saw a way to get out of the length of that deal, even by Marcus Semien, an older player who's making more money in the short term. They lost Edwin Diaz over $3 million over the course of that deal. So basically, it didn't come down to money for Edwin Diaz. If $3 million at that point wasn't going to make a difference, if he still wanted to be a Met, they could have matched that deal, or he could have taken that deal if he really wanted to be with the Mets. But then, after you've lost him and you're coming down to Pete Alonso, and you figure Alonso was pissed the way things went last year, right? He got a 2-year deal with an out after 1 year to become a free agent again, and that they told him they weren't going to go more than 3 years. So sure, if you're him, you're coming off another great year production-wise. You're the all-time Mets home run leader. Why wouldn't you see if somebody's going to give you 4 or 5 years? And then they weren't even involved in it after that point, which, okay, there's a long way to go in the offseason. But where is there another player who's going to produce what Pete Alonso does offensively? If you get Cody Bellinger, seems like he wants to be back with the Yankees if they make the right deal. You're not getting Bellinger. So who else is going to produce and provide those kind of numbers? Right now, with the lineup they have, okay, put Mark Vientos in at first, or maybe you get William Contreras. Come on. Contreras is not Pete Alonso offensively.
No.
Not even close.
Not even.
I don't know where they come up with those numbers, but unless you have a presence behind Juan Soto, good luck paying him all that money to walk 150 times, because that's what's going to happen.
Charlie, I got an idea, because I've been hearing that Philadelphia just gave Schwarber a lot of money. Well, enough money. I wouldn't say a lot of money, but a fair contract, $30 million. That you're hearing that Bryce Harper could be available. Do the Mets trade for Bryce Harper and move him to first base? That gives you that solidified. I don't know if it's Pete Alonso power numbers, but it gives you that power in the lineup. And by the way, Juan Soto and him are very close. So maybe something like that. Do you see that happening?
I say there's no chance in the world Dave Dombrowski is trading Bryce Harper to the Mets. There is nothing that they will get back. The Phillies are still in that by giving Schwarber the money.
Mm-hmm.
And last year, they locked up their starting pitching, and maybe they might lose one of their starters this year. If they do anything else, they're going to get another starting pitcher to solidify their rotation. But the Phillies, to me, are still on the cusp of a team that's a World Series contender. They're at the age of their players, especially if they sign Real Muto, they're in win now mode again.
Charlie, what do you think too on that? Sorry to cut you off, but what do you think too? Like obviously with Preston being in the front office with the Phillies, what do you think adding Donnie Baseball to that? And I had the fortunate pleasure, obviously, to be with Tomper and Kevin Long and those guys. What do you think he adds to that dynamic of the clubhouse and on the bench?
He's Donnie Baseball. It's, everybody wants whatever.
By the way, that error committee missed on it.
Mm-hmm. But I mean, Bryce Harper is a student of the game, the history of the game. He's one of the most knowledgeable players about baseball and sports in general. He'll tell you the third string long snapper is on Division III football teams. This guy's locked in on everything. So believe me, whatever knowledge that he can pull out of Don Mattingly that can help him or help his team win, he's going to do, and he's going to want everybody else to be part of that also. And, you have their manager who was part of that group also in New York. I mean, so.
Well, and what people don't understand about what Tomper did, Tomper ran everything. He literally, spring training, he was there at 4:30 shaving his beard. He shaves every day. He was there running everything. Like Tomps ran everything. And he's unbelievable. I don't think he gets it. It took him so many years, and people that know the game, as you've been around it, Tomps went from every level of everything that he did, and he was very well deserving. The only other person that I have come encounter with that should be a manager that hasn't is Sandy Alomar.
Sandy Alomar Jr. Right? How is that not happen? How is that not happen? At the same time,
blows my mind.
At the same time this year, I want to ask you this too. We're in New York playing the Yankees, the Nationals, in late August, and Willie Randolph's walking around behind the cage, right? And he's like, I didn't even get to it, right? I didn't even get to it. And what I wanted to ask Willie, because I became close with Lou Piniella when he managed in Tampa Bay, and I was there calling their games. And, these are, to me, Lou's royalty, right? Lou Piniella. And, he went through a lot with prostate cancer, and, his body took a toll. And when you see Lou, he looks every bit of 81 years old now. He doesn't look like the Lou you remember. But I said to Willie, how did Lou look when you saw him at Yankees Old Timers Day? And he goes, he kind of like rallied and like come back, and it was like the Lou you knew. And I'm thinking as I'm talking to him, and I said, Willie, how are you not working in how are you not teaching baseball to somebody? And he said, for the life of me, I can't figure it out. And he told me Yankees people don't want him talking to the players about the game. He's a club ambassador, represents them, but they don't want him to be teaching the game. And I'm like, wow. I know he managed the Mets, and they had that epic collapse, 17 games left, 7-game lead, and they don't win. But how does that guy not have something that he can give to young players with the era and the teams that he played on? But it just takes me to what we were talking about to begin with in this conversation. Don Mattingly, Willie Randolph, those guys are baseball royalty. They should always have a place in the game. That being said, everybody's moving towards hiring guys who worked at Driveline Baseball.
I knew exactly where you're going to go with this, and I know Speedy has something to say because he's I see him.
The team I work for now, when I go to spring training, I will not know a single. Let's say I've been with the Nationals for 21 years. I was with Tampa Bay for 7. I did fill-ins for several years for the Orioles and the Mets. I literally will not know one person other than Sean Doolittle coming back who will be on the coaching staff, the big league staff. And that's maybe never happened before.
Java, to put in perspective, so Charlie and I were talking about this last week. Literally, the average age of the Nationals coaching staff is what did you say, about 31 or something like that?
One coach who's 50, one who's in his 40s, who's been in the big leagues, is a big league catching coach. But other than Doolittle, none of the others have ever coached at the major league level, and neither has the manager. So it doesn't mean you won't have success, but it's just you're going to a different era where this was interesting. A couple of years ago, a guy I was with when the Nationals started in 2005, Brad Wilkerson, was an outfielder who came with them from Montreal when the team moved. And he was the assistant hitting coach for the Yankees. And he told me he could see video of everything that was being worked on with players at every level of the farm system. And the guys who were in the cage with the hitters were video guys. They were the ones who were the coaches, but they were video guys. They weren't guys who played baseball necessarily. And so it kind of is a mind blow, but all of it now is these guys who can look at a player, determine what their swing path is, what pitches they're supposed to swing at to have the best success. And that's got to be their approach. So, maybe this started with Tampa Bay where they were making out lineups based on who the pitcher is. Well, if this guy's a fastball pitcher, these guys are going to play. If this guy's an off-speed pitcher, these guys are going to play, and the guys who hit fastballs won't play. And I guess it's a way to get around not having a lineup of 8 guys who can just freaking hit anybody. That's how you're trying to maximize success now. And the same story with pitchers. We're going to put all these cameras up and determine your
horizontal,
what your best pitch is,
all that other stuff.
Your angles, your tilt, your spin. Then you listen to the doctor who's doing all of the Tommy John surgeries with the internal brace, saying all this may not be the best way to go because guys are just trying to maximize every pitch for as long as they can until they blow out.
That's the thing, Charlie, too, where like I look at it too, and as you referenced the guys that we've talked about, we don't have enough baseball dudes in front offices. Like we see, like obviously now, CY in Texas, what did he do? He ended up going to win. Buster's doing a lot of really cool things. What did CY do at Texas? He brought in Bochy. What did they do? They won a World Series, right?
Right away.
What's Buster going to do? Like they're going to bring baseball guys in. And it's why do these minds that we have that should be at the pinnacle and leading an organization or leading a team, but when we're relying on freaking dudes that are literally an MIT grad that looks at numbers and be like, this guy's going to be great. Well, no, put eyes on the prize, right? Like
it's stratomatic baseball. Right?
And it's frustrating as I'm an old school baseball guy. I'm a Advil, long toss and run. That's what I do. And I teach kids, and my son's a sophomore in college. What we do is we play long toss. We do these things. And I look at certain things and I have to adjust to, because I know the game is changing, and it is changing in certain ways. But do I think, and we've talked about this plenty of times on the show, there is a place for those things. But when we have great minds that are in the game that we all know and that we see, why are they not put in a position to be able to take care of a team and do it in the baseball sense, not in the analytical sense, in the baseball sense, because we've seen now where it's changed. And I think, and Errol will say the same thing, like he hates the Dodgers because of what they're doing. But also, if I'm a player, they're spending the money and giving me, I want to go play with those guys. Well, if I have somebody else, and what Schwarber's doing right now,
yeah, Diaz is a great example because talked about his brother who had success in Cincinnati and then fell off, and then he ends up in LA, even though he wasn't there long. He told his brother what it was like there and how they treat everybody. And so if Edwin Diaz felt his path to win was with the Mets, would $3 million at that point make that much difference to him?
Okay, but Charlie, at the same time, what we're talking about, who is in that dugout every day? Who is he? Dave Roberts,
right?
A player, gets it, understands it. And why do they do these things? And you see the success of these coaches that have played the game and put guys in situations to where it's like, hey, I can see these things, and I know the numbers may not tell me what's actually going to happen, or it may tell me what's going to happen, but I'm watching the game. And that's what they do. Like, we've seen it. Like, one of the most prime examples I think about is you brought up Tampa, right? Look at Snell. When they took, he's facing the lineup for the third time. What happened? They end up freaking losing a World Series because of their analytical aspect, not you watching the damn game.
Right. That night, he was lights out. And you made a decision based on everything that happened in his career up until then, but you didn't trust that night that he could go further. And the other part of it was, once you went to the bullpen and you're in game 7, they're bringing in the same, no offense to relievers, but they're bringing in the same relievers who pitched in every game of the series, who are probably a little bit gassed at that point. But it's not a different look anymore to the hitter because they've seen them all.
The more they see us at that point, the more they see us, it's like you already know that what my sequences are. You know these things, and we switch that up, and that's why we're trying to play chess and not checkers.
And Charlie's team in the Nationals, well, they won. They were bringing starters out of the pen and kind of defying those. Obviously, bullpen.
We didn't have enough people in the bullpen.
Yeah,
our bullpen was not very good. You had Doolittle and Hudson. So, right. I mean, that wasn't something that wasn't done before, where teams would put starters in the bullpen. It wasn't as common, though, I don't think. But we did it a lot that postseason.
Yep.
We did it with Scherzer. We did it with Strasburg, which helped the Nationals win the wild card game. Patrick Corbin, those are the best 3 innings he had in 6 years with the Nationals. And he was only supposed to pitch 1 inning, the 6th inning, after Scherzer pitched the first 5 in game 7. And Scherzer was the one saying, leave him in. We don't have enough to get to Doolittle and Hudson. He ended up pitching 3 innings. Lights out. Nobody got on base. And then they turned the game around against the Astros, who took their starter out after he gave up. He was pitching shutout ball, gives up a solo home run. They take him out, and the Nationals hit 2 home runs and turn the game around and score 6 unanswered runs. So, I mean, Greinke was lights out, but they didn't trust him to go deeper into the game. Same thing.
We've talked about this too, and Errol will chime in because I know as soon as I say this, exactly what he's going to say. But when we were winning, Stick Michael was in our front office. And I know who you're going to say that did other things, Errol. I know what you're going to say. But you got a baseball dude that came his way to Trenton, New Jersey to watch me pitch and be like, this kid can help us in the big leagues. It wasn't like, oh, he's doing this, he's doing that. And other guys that helped the team, he's like, I have to and he even told me this, and God rest his soul. He was like, I have to see it. I want to see it. Like, you can tell me how good he is in his numbers, but if I don't see it and it ain't there, that's not going to be what we want. And I don't think we have enough of that. Like, because it starts so young now where everything is exit velo, it's spin rate, it's all this other stuff. But let's put an eye on a prize. You look at so many guys that have played this game where if you would have put them on a TrackMan or a Rapsodo or whatever it is, and they had those, you wouldn't have spent 2 seconds on them. But they're gamers. Dustin Pedroia, perfect example. And there's way more. Billy
Too
Butler.
Too small.
They're not good enough. They're not big enough. Goes wins a rookie year and MVP. Like, he's a gamer. And
Charlie,
if you can't put eyes on a prize.
Charlie, you mentioned Willie Randolph, and you're saying that Willie Randolph, obviously the Yankees aren't letting him work with the younger guys, and we've seen this. Andy Pettit for years used to go to spring training. All of them usually go to spring training and work with the younger kids. And you have Reggie Jackson, who I think the Yankees did him wrong. And that's why he went to the Astros. And that's why
he burned his own bridge, Errol.
I'm sure. I don't know. You probably know more than I do, but I think that obviously Reggie Jackson is a guy that I've always liked. I've always respected his game and what he's all about. I checked out his Reggie documentary, by the way. It's sensational. Prime put a really good product out there. And I haven't even checked out Alex Rodriguez documentary, which I heard is really, really good too. So one of these days I'm going to get to that. Charlie, Jabba's talking about obviously the game and how a lot of these ex-players, the guys that know the game very, very well, why aren't they put in a position to succeed from the guys that don't know the game? Is there a particular organization right now, besides the teams that we bring up, Tampa being one of them, that have been very well known to develop players? Is there a particular organization that you have watched grow players in the farm system that you believe has really transitioned the game and helped the game grow over the last couple of years? Is there a particular organization that you like out of all the rest?
Well, I think, Atlanta has always been good at homegrown players coming up through their system. Maybe not as much in recent years. They've always been able to identify players in the Atlanta area and have scouted and drafted them and developed them to get to the big league level. The Dodgers, maybe not as much in recent years. A lot of their prospects they use to trade. But again, you developed a Will Smith. They have the money now to go out and still sign whoever they want. So they haven't developed as many. You've got their center fielders come through the organization. I think, more teams that don't have the financial resources are focused on trying to develop players and get them to the big leagues through their farm system.
So what
you find out is it's not that easy. It's not that easy. And so that's why you have these organizations trying different types of ways to develop players and bring in these people who think they're going to accelerate development and establish a culture and a way to go about it.
At the same time, you say these owners, all of them are billionaires.
No question.
They can do whatever the heck they want. And do you want to put a product on the field that puts butts in seats, or do we want to win? And I think they go hand in hand, right? Because if you don't have those dudes that kids want to buy their jerseys and do all those things, where we always talk about certain things of like, oh, they don't want to spend, like, the end of the day, we call baseball in the club, it's a billionaire's board game. Do you want to get Park Place? Do you want to get Atlantic? Do you want to buy a railroad?
It's a club. It's their monopoly board, like you're saying. So, and we talked about this the last time I was on, which goes to what just happened yesterday. Did the Orioles just find a way to sell some tickets? 1,000%, right? By signing Pete Alonso for 5 years. Because now fans are going, okay, you sign Helsley. If you just sign Alonso, if we get another starting pitcher here, and all those young players who didn't have great years rebound, the Orioles have a chance to contend for the division in the AL East now, right away. Right away. If their pitching's better, they have a closer of Helsley. It's true that he was tipping pitches and figured that out. That's why he was unsuccessful with the Mets, and he turns that around right away, and he's the pitcher he was in St. Louis. And maybe they add a starting pitcher to the mix. They're right there. They might be as good as better than the Yankees, and depending what Toronto does, that Toronto's probably still contends for the division. But the Orioles step up in a huge way, adding Alonso, and that's what excites a fan base.
I don't like the Orioles making that move for Pete Alonso for one reason. And if you look at Pete Alonso's numbers in the American League East, it's not very good. And now you're coming to a division where you're going to have to compete with the Yankees 15 games a year. You got to play the Red Sox, the Rays, and the Blue Jays. And you're an Orioles team that kind of underperformed last year. So there's a lot of pressure on the Orioles this year. If the Orioles do not produce, are you going to be able to keep the younger players? You have all these great younger players, and you have all these great draft classes that you've had over the years. You traded away your best pitching prospect for what? I mean, a lot of things that the Orioles have done this offseason have you shaking your head, and you bring in Pete Alonso because the Mets are just a foolish organization that let their best power hitter go. So
Grayson Rodriguez, a team always knows the medicals on their player better than anybody who's going to acquire him. So there's something that they are afraid of if they traded him at this point when he was one of their top pitching prospects.
And Charlie, what I heard too, and to piggyback kind of what you're saying, is from the guys that I talked to, they basically were like, we've seen all, and they kind of just gave up on him because they're like, well, we couldn't figure it out. We couldn't do anything. And they just were like, well, if it works, it works. But obviously it didn't work there. So he literally is like just a fish out of water at that point. And they're like, well, what are we going to get for him? And did they get anything for him? Not really, but they just kind of gave up on him. And I know that does happen. I get that because of, injuries and stuff like that. But if he goes out and does anything, they didn't get anything back for him.
You got a left fielder, right-handed hitter who produces some power. So they needed.
And he's an everyday player,
right? In left field. So there's value in that. If they had another starting pitcher, Rogers, who was a disaster when they traded for him from Miami and gave up a couple of really good players. Look what happened with Stowers in Miami. But then Rogers was great the second half of last year when he came back from the injury. So again, he wasn't pitching in the pressure of a pennant race. So let's see what he is, Trevor Rogers, out of the gate this coming year. But when you talk about every owner is a billionaire in a billionaires club, it goes back to when I talked about San Diego. When they moved into that ballpark, they didn't sell out. They were a team that drew 15, 20,000 fans a game there. And now they're number 2 in attendance in the major leagues to the Dodgers, ahead of the Yankees. Yep. St. Louis used to be at the top, fell off in a big way. And that's because they have superstars in their lineup. That's what sells tickets. Whether you win a championship when you get to the postseason or not, you've put yourself in that position to get there. But you're a team that's making money because you're drawing fans.
Charlie,
so it's hard for me to comprehend if you own a team, if you take revenue sharing, and that's enough for you to make a profit with TV money and everything else, but you're not putting people in the stands. If you try to win and you sign players, your value of your franchise only goes up if and when the time comes you're ready to sell. That's what it's all about.
So let me ask you this from your perspective. If you understand like what's in the clubhouse, like what's going on, you see it from a different perspective. For you to try to relay the game to people and make it relatable and make it fun, and have listeners, have viewership, and all that. Is it hard for you too, as someone in your position too? Like, if they're not doing that, like, damn it, that's kind of it's hard for me to like relate a great product when I know it's not the best product that we can put on the field.
That's we're an extension of trying to sell this to fans. And so, the bottom line, when it comes to the, right down to it, and I'm there, I'm saying, here's the 2-1 pitch. That's what it comes down to for me. And I can't dress it up any better than it is, because fans know what the numbers are. They know what the wins and losses are. They're watching the games if a team is successful or not successful. So, I'm either the bearer of good news or I'm the bearer of bad news, and from a broadcaster standpoint, I've spent a lot of years calling teams that were not successful. I could have said bad teams, but I said teams that were not successful on the field. So then the goal for me, and I said this to in 2005, the Nationals could have won 1,000 games or lost 1,000 games. People were so excited to have baseball, they didn't care. And then the team in June ran off 10 wins in a row. They went 20-6. They were 50-31 at the midway point, and it were a team that nobody expected to do anything. And they were getting huge crowds, averaged over 40,000 a game first half of the year at RFK Stadium, which was pretty much a dump. Not a good place to watch a game, but for people who remembered baseball when they had it, they didn't care. They were excited to go there and see games. And so you had a honeymoon period. They went 31-50 the second half of the season, fell out of the wild card race in September, and finished 81-81, fifth place, 500. People were still happy, but that's not gonna last, and it didn't. And the second and third year, I said to my partner, we're gonna have to find a way to tell stories and make these broadcasts interesting, because people are not going to tune in for wins, because this team's not going to be good enough while they're building. So we have to get into where the players are from, try and find out different things, stories to tell, because it's got to be about more than just the game. But now where the Nationals are, a team that won in 2019, they had great teams from 2012 all the way through winning the World Series. 2021 expiring contracts, they fall off in July, they trade everybody away, and have been in a rebuild since. So you have an entirely new front office now with a 35-year-old president of baseball operations. The first day of the winter meetings, they put out a statement to fans talking about the kind of club he wants to build, and wants young kids to fall in love with baseball the way he did growing up in San Francisco, which was a team he grew up watching that won 3 World Series in 5 or 6 years with Bruce Bochy and those teams in San Francisco from 2010 to 2014. Okay, that you fall in love with a winner. That's how it happens. That's why there's Yankees fans all over the country that go to games when the Yankees are on the road, because they became such huge fans of an iconic franchise, especially after they won 4 World Series in a short span of time in the late 90s, early 2000s. And then another one in 2009. So when it comes to it, you have a new front office from top to bottom, a new manager, and you've stated the type of chemistry you want to build and a team you want fans to fall in love with. But these fans are ready for someone to be signed and try and build a winner. You're asking for a honeymoon period. That's a tough thing at this point.
All right, Charlie, we have a game. You're a trivia guy. We're going to get you involved in this. This is the first time you've ever done this before. We call this trivia game Tic-Tac-No.
Right in the butt. We get the prizes cheap because they're stolen.
No.
Never going wrong. We have a wonderful, wonderful game. And Charlie's never done Tic-Tac-No. It's a trivia game, and we call it Tic-Tac-No because somebody always says no. And Speedy is going to be leading this trivia game. Are you ready, Speedy?
I am.
All right, let's go.
All right, so we'll start. Good thing I had some extra baseball ones prepared for this. We'll start with the baseball one I had saved for since the MVP stuff came out. So Barry Bonds and Shohei Ohtani have won 4 or more MVPs. Bonds won 7, but there are 3 players that have won exactly 3, or 4 players that have won exactly 3 MVPs that were National League players. Name 2 of those guys.
3 MVPs, all National League MVPs, you're saying?
National League guys.
And they won 3 of them.
They won 3 exactly, yes.
Well, Bonds is 1, right?
No. Bonds won 7. These are the guys that have won exactly 3 MVPs. So not Bonds, not Shohei Ohtani, who won 4.
Okay.
Exactly 3.
We could go really far back on this.
Some of them go back to the 50s, yes. And one is
Stan Musial.
that's one. There's one kind of 70s, 80s, and there's one that's 2000s.
All right, my guess was right, so we just need to get one more and we get the point.
Yep. And it looks like Java disappeared. So
Yeah, he's his internet's acting up.
Let's say you said a 70s?
There's one like 70s, 80s guy. One more 50s era.
Hank Aaron?
Nope, not Hank Aaron.
I have no clue.
You want me to guess for you, Tommy?
Yeah, I'll give you my guess.
All right, so 70s National League. All the MVPs were in the National League. They couldn't have gotten it one of them in the AL or anything like that.
They're all in the National League.
Okay. Not Hank Aaron. That's tough. Oh. No, it would have been. I already got the old one.
Johnny Bench.
It's not Johnny Bench.
Good guess though.
Thinking somebody off the Big Red Machine, right?
Right. Yeah.
Nope, there's not anyone on that team.
No, it's a good guess though. National League. Wow. I don't think I'm gonna get that one.
Holy
You said there was a couple of
stuff,
more recent ones though, Speedy?
There was one 2000s era player.
Oh jeez. Pujols.
Anyone from the Pirates?
Nope, Pujols. Just got it.
All right.
What's that?
Albert Pujols.
Pujols.
Yeah.
You guys were able
All
to get
right.
Cardinals.
Okay, so here we go. This is how we play the game. Everyone has an icon. Charlie, here's your icon for tonight.
Did we get the 70s, 80s one?
Oh, Speedy, tell us the ones that we didn't get.
So the other 50s one was Roy Campanella.
Wow.
Ooh,
And then the 70s, 80s one was Mike Schmidt.
Oh, wow. Should have gotten that one.
All right, so
Should've
I got
gotten
the
that.
center square. Next question, Speedy.
All right, we'll go to an Edwin Diaz themed question. So he's tied for second in the American League all time with his 57 save season back in 2018, the year before the Mets traded for him. He is tied with what American reliever that did it in 1990?
57 saves?
Yep, in 1990. 57
Bobby,
saves.
take a pen.
And Charlie gets it.
All right. That's awesome. I would have never gotten that one. Here it is. Charlie, where do you want to put the piece? We got to make tic-tac-toe, so
A corner.
you tell us. Bottom corner?
Take a corner, yep.
All right, here we go. Right here. All right, Speedy, you got to you got to give us your hard one now. You got to
All right,
block
we're
us.
gonna shift to a little basketball for this one. So LeBron James just recently had his 297 game streak broken, where he scored double-digit points in a game. So the last time he did not do that before, just recently against the Raptors, was on January 6th, 2007, when he did it against what East Coast team?
Oh, come on. That is literally, we just have to randomly guess the right team that he played was his rookie. Was that I'm assuming that's his rookie year?
Nope, 2007.
No, 2007 you said?
Yep.
So he had a single point game like 3 years into his career. So he had like a really bad game. I don't know.
With the Knicks?
It is not the Knicks.
No, he never scored less than 30 against the Knicks. It's never happened. I don't know. You said East Coast, so Boston?
Nope.
Just wild guess East Coast.
I'm gonna guess Detroit.
Nope.
That's more Midwest.
Still East Coast.
It's not East Coast. It's in the middle of the country.
East Coast.
Michigan's not East Coast.
Shut up, bitch.
So
It's
he's
literally
doing
in
this against an East Coast team.
Yes, an East Coast team that held LeBron James to single digits.
I know. When this happened the other day, I was trying to. They mentioned it. The last time he had a single-digit game.
Oh, I think I might have figured it out.
I'm thinking of it too now, but I already guessed.
Boston? Did we say Boston?
I said Boston.
Yeah, I said yeah. You said that.
Miami.
It's not Miami. It's always your hunch that you just got.
I think it might be.
I know it wasn't Washington.
It was not Washington. That would have been a big minute if it was.
Right?
Is that the Dwight Howard Orlando team?
No. Goody
No?
would have had too much fun with that. Nope, it was actually the at that time New Jersey Nets.
I was gonna say that. I don't know.
Well, Speedy, you earned that one. That sufficiently stumped all of us. I'm assuming we're going for the block here.
Yes, we are.
All right, Speedy. Next question. Let's keep it moving.
We're going to shift to some college football for this one. So the recently hired Matt Campbell got the Penn State job, turned down a director of player personnel job in 2003 for what NFL team that won a Super Bowl?
Say that all over again. I'm sorry.
So Matt Campbell in 2003, the new head coach for Penn State, previously Iowa State head coach, turned down a director of player personnel job in 2003 for what NFL team that won a Super Bowl in the 21st century?
Turn down the job.
Well, that rules out the Jets.
I'm gonna say during that time on a Bowl. The Eagles?
Not the Eagles.
Damn.
They won a Super Bowl after he turned them down?
Yes.
All right. I thought you were trying to pull a fast one on me here. Who's gone through a bunch of upheaval that's also won? And it wouldn't be like a great franchise if he turned it down. Right? Raiders?
They did not win in the 21st century.
Oh, that's I thought they won in no, they didn't win. They lost that Super Bowl.
That's as bad as me picking Detroit.
That's why I asked in the first place. I don't even know why I said. No, it is not as bad as you not knowing where in the country Detroit
The Raiders
is.
haven't won.
You not knowing where Detroit is significantly worse.
The fact that no, it's not. The fact that
You are out of your mind if you don't think that's worse.
in the 21st century.
You not knowing geography of our country.
The
They
fact
have
that
puzzles for like 6-year-olds.
here's the puzzle. I'm tired and I don't want to listen to your thing.
You're the one fighting.
No, you're the one that actually said that the Raiders had won something in the 21st century when they haven't.
I was trying to think of a crap franchise that a guy like Campbell, who must have been in his 20s at the time, would turn down, as opposed to not knowing where Detroit is.
I think the 21st century, you picking the Oakland Raiders is absolutely pathetic.
Well, I disagree with you. I think yours is more
I
pathetic.
disagree. The last time,
But we can agree to disagree. It's a beautiful country. It's 2025, almost 2026.
That was the last time they even got close. So.
That's the one I was thinking of, and for some reason, I don't know why my brain farted. I
win.
remember
That's not
the
good
Barrett Robbins disappearance, that Super Bowl, their like all-pro center that never played again after that. Speedy.
I'm gonna say the Broncos.
It's not the Broncos.
So who is it?
It's Charlie has a guess left.
Wild guess, Charlie.
I have a team now that I'm thinking of.
I will say Carolina.
It's not Carolina.
No, Carolina.
It's
Fish
a
kind
wild
of
guess.
Yeah, Fish kind of redirected. It actually was a great franchise.
Really? What?
It was the Patriots.
So wait,
I
the
figured-
Patriots, they offered a 20-year-old
They offered
because he in 2003, like, isn't he only in his early 40s, Matt this guy? Like, he would have been like 21?
Yeah, something like that. He's definitely young still. He is 46, so I guess he would have. Yeah, he would have been.
It would have been like 2 years out of college.
Time, yeah, and he turned it
What?
down.
Who's impressive enough 2 years out of college to be named? You know what? Who knows? With the way that they did stuff, it's the Patriot way, I guess. Speedy, where do you want to go?
All right, let's go.
Oh, whoops, that's not the right one. That's the one with you dancing.
That one would like a fart in church.
No.
Breaking news. Need Brittany also.
Let me just get rid of that.
Breaking news. They call me the ladies' man and Mr. Steal Your Girl.
All right, Speedy, where?
All right, we will go. Let's go top right.
Why is that there? Speedy. Here we go. All right. Starting to get a little hairy. Let's
All
go,
right.
Speedy.
We'll see if you guys can get the last baseball one I have. So obviously Pete Alonso getting the biggest contract in Orioles history. We know all about the Chris Davis debacle too, as the other bad contract in Orioles history. Besides those two players, who got the next highest?
The next biggest contract for the Orioles?
Yep. Besides Chris Davis and obviously Pete Alonso just signed.
How far back are we going?
Not as far. Not that far.
Miguel Tejada.
Nope.
It's a good guess.
That's a good guess. Brady Anderson.
Nope.
I guess
Steroid
Brady didn't cash
himself.
in on that steroid. I mean, fluke 50 home run season. All right, maybe it's more recent. Maybe it's like, I'm gonna say Adam Jones.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, Speedy. We're gonna block you. All right, next question.
All right, so you guys brought it up in Deuce of the Day. Phillip Rivers, they call Cam Newton debacle. So in Cam Newton's MVP season, Phillip Rivers, leading receiver that year, was not a receiver. Was either a running back or a tight end. Name this player.
I mean, it's only two people, so
Good.
we're gonna get this right. All right, I'll start. I'll name the first one, Antonio Gates.
It's not Antonio Gates.
So then it's the Hall of Fame running back. Then it's the Hall of Fame running back.
2015.
Oh no, 2015.
Oh, you said old.
So I was like, yeah, I don't know. 2015 to then
Tight end or
Eckler.
running back.
Was Eckler on the team then?
No.
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 Tight
then-
end. What is that?
Well, it
not
wasn't
LT,
Gates.
huh?
No, it's only 2015. Tomlinson was already done by then.
Who the hell did they have at the running back room then?
Is that like
I don't know.
Yeah, I have no clue.
give me your guess then, Tommy.
Yeah, I'll get Fish my guess.
So you're saying it wasn't Gates. You said leading receiver as far as yards or receptions or both?
Yards.
Yards. Wow.
Keenan Allen and with 755.
Well, that's obviously not great. But it was a running back that would have gotten that many yards.
Yep.
That's really fascinating. Who did they have? It's like on the tip of my tongue.
No one will get this.
I mean, after Tomlinson, who was their running back? So like Michael Turner or something like that? Didn't we have him on the show? I don't think he was a receiving threat, though.
No, he was in Atlanta.
That's right, Atlanta. No. Who's the Chargers backup that took over?
Danny Woodhead.
Charlie gets it. Very good. Oh, Woodhead. I was not.
Well, Charlie already guessed, though.
Oh, that was it. Damn, Charlie got it. I'll give him that.
All right, well, then it's game over. Charlie, we have done it.
All right.
There it is.
Oh, there you go. All right, there we go. Tic-tac-no. Charlie's first tic-tac-no game. All right, so we got one more segment, and since Jabba's no longer with us, because his computer went down, we will have Charlie join us. I'm sure he has his own take on this, as we call this, What's That Smell?
Hold up. What is that smell?
What's that smell? Wow, you don't see that every day.
I am absolutely pissed off by the Buccaneers. They have not used Bucky Irvin at all. Godwin has a touchdown, and I'm playing Godwin in my fantasy league, which is absolutely pathetic. And still, no Bucky Irving. Enough of
Answer me this, Errol.
Yeah.
The Atlanta scores. It's 28-20.
Yeah.
With over 9 minutes to go, and they went for 2, and they didn't get it.
I don't understand that, but also, if the Buccaneers are smart, they run the ball, so they run the clock out. But
The analytics say that you do that, Charlie, though, because like the idea is if you get
it worked in their favor because Mayfield on the next possession just got intercepted.
Well,
And
I mean,
Atlanta has the ball near midfield.
that's really interesting. Maybe this game's going to end up in overtime or come down to that 2-point conversion. But the idea is if they make the 2-point conversion, then they get a touchdown and they win with the extra point. If they don't make it, they still have a chance to tie with getting a 2-point conversion. So technically, that's a better set of outcomes than just kicking the extra point, they say.
I wouldn't be surprised if Atlanta wins this game. It's very typical. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, so it's pretty simple how you play this game. We're going to go around in a circle, and we're going to tell you something that is happening in football, baseball, hockey, basketball, and we're going to tell you what it smells like. It could be anything. It could be something bad, something good, whatever. And we're going to tell you what it smells like after we give you the take. So first things first, we're going to go Speedy. We're going to go Fish. We're going to go Poops. We're going to go Charlie. We're going to go me. Here we go.
All right, so I'm going to start it off with CBS Sports and 24/7 Sports college football radio host and personality Bud Elliott literally decided to say it is a safety issue, putting James Madison, the number 12 seed, and Tulane, the number 11 seed, in the college football playoff field. He said football is not like any other sport. It is a safety issue. He said that 8-5 Duke deserved a spot, and also Notre Dame, Texas, and Vanderbilt deserving spots over those two group of 5 teams because it is a safety issue. Tulane and JMU being in our charity to avoid getting sued. And then literally responded to some fans that took shots at the SEC for scheduling schools like the Citadel and stuff like that. Try to defend this issue when literally football is the same game. If anything, it's just as physical just because those teams have to play more physical, including somebody like Tulane that's had some good defensive linemen and linebackers drafted in the NFL recently. And JMU, which has been a FCS powerhouse for a while. So I don't know what you're thinking. Safety issue. Football is the same game. Yikes. Why do you work there? You're going to make takes like that. So what does that smell like? It smells like a green wave that Tulane likes to bring, but instead of a green color, it's green filled with mold and algae going all on to Bud's head.
All right. Who's next? Me or Poops?
You.
All right. Here we go. So the Giants. I actually have 2 Giants. What's that smells? We're going to combine them. The first one is, did you know on that wonderful missed field goal by Younghoe Koo, where he got his foot stuck in the ground and couldn't actually kick the ball, and it looked like he got frozen by a magical spell in a video game. The punter, Jamie Gillen, who is the holder for the kicks, ended up injuring his knee on that play and will likely miss the game this week. So that play not only was one of the worst plays I saw in real time, also got our punter probably injured, possibly for the rest of the season. That is so terrible. And on top of that, listen to this one. You know the Giants used to employ Brian Cox. Yes, the same Brian Cox that made Tom Brady's career possible. Brian Cox as assistant defensive line coach. And he was fired by Mike Kafka over a large disagreement last week over apparently Kafka telling him and his assistant group that they are now sitting in the back of the plane. That is some horrible optics that I don't understand why the story is not being talked about a little bit more. It smells like that everything is wrong in the kingdom of Mike Krapka. Yes, I'm going to be calling him Mike Krapka from now on. He is just as bad as the rest of them. Obviously, Cox was a Daboll guy, apparently, and the Daboll Kafka. I mean, Daboll did like bully him for 4 seasons straight, so I guess that there's some retribution. But man, what an absolute stink bomb of a crap show in Krapka Town. That's what it smells like. Just the most crap.
It's just funny you brought up Brian Cox accelerating Tom Brady's career. It was funny. The one Jets game I ever went to back in 2015, they were playing the Patriots, and they were honoring Mo Lewis before the game.
Oh my God! All right, Tommy.
All right, so I'm going to be keeping it with some wrestling. I know I did wrestling last week, but this Saturday
Alex
is
will
going to
like
be
this one.
this Saturday. The conclusion will be coming to an end for a specific man. The last time is now, and I'm talking about the 17-time one of the greatest champions, one of the greatest wrestlers of all time, Mr. John Cena himself.
You wanted to jerk me off?
Now, this retirement tour is going to be concluding on Saturday. Like I said, shout out to my father's birthday on that day as well. But
Busy all day today.
Going to be concluding on Saturday. Now, the thing is that I just have to point out how somewhat piss poor this retirement tour has been. Now, ever since last year when he announced that he had 17 dates to go and wrestle for the last time he was going to be in certain countries, last time he was going to be in certain cities, areas, arenas, whatnot, for the last time on certain pay-per-views. Now, I will say, I'm not dissing the retirement tour itself. I think that, like I said, John Cena, one of the best of all time, definitely deserves a retirement tour. However, I feel as if the 17 dates were a lot wasted. For instance, he's fighting Gunther in his last match. That should have been wasted instead of having, I don't know, they had like tag matches with Logan Paul. And it was very random. So my thing is that I feel as
I get more girls
the heel
than
run,
scoops.
the heel run wasn't entirely all there. I feel like the creative decision actually decided to pull some of it back. So my thing is creative. You need to start learning how to book your retirement tours a little bit better, because for the man, like I said, for the last 20 years, who has been one of the guys who have put WWE on blast in PG era in the last 20 years or so, John Cena definitely deserved a better retirement tour. But like I said, I'm not going to be trash talking the retirement tour, because the retirement of one of the best of all time and with their career of one of the best of all time smells like roses. However, this retirement tour that you want to call it, well, this retirement tour, actually, speaking of Nathan, that's just on this
my Indo.
Errol obviously loves so much. The smell of his retirement tour smells like Lisa Ann's
Groba.
crusty panties that
Groba.
Nathan has
Ass
hiding in his
liquor.
basement.
I love Lisa Ann.
So there we go.
All right, Charlie, what do you got for us?
Well, I wasn't prepared for this. So you need something that stinks, right?
Something that stinks. Give us something.
It could stink nicely. Sometimes you could do a nice one. It could smell like roses.
The Mets of the last few days. I mean, what stinks more than that?
What's it smell like?
I mean, nothing tops losing Edwin Diaz and Pete Alonso in consecutive days. That's not beatable.
You want my cream pie?
That's a show ender, really.
My rear end is burning.
There you go. That's what it smells like.
It's her end burning after he tries to put on Lisa Ann's panties.
That's true.
Oh,
All right.
my God.
The
Mine
final.
was short and sweet.
Short and
That's
sweet.
I can't come up with anything that stinks more than that.
I've got a good one. My final What's That Smell goes to finally Jeff Kent getting into the Hall of Fame. But now Donnie Baseball's got to wait until 2028 for the committee to actually look at him again and vote him into the Hall of Fame. This guy, in a 5 to 6 year span, has some of the best numbers we've ever seen an infielder have. How many Gold Gloves does this guy have to win? How many batting titles did this guy had to win in the time that he did it? And really, with a Yankee team that was really that bad. And this guy did everything. He was the Yankee. He was the captain. He was everything. Donnie Baseball should be in the Hall of Fame and should be inducted in the Hall of Fame, including the one and only, the chief himself, the general. Yes, you know who I'm talking about. The one, the only, Mr. Steinbrenner, who's still not in the Hall of Fame. Two guys that should be inducted into the Hall of Fame. It's not there. You know what it smells like? It smells like Bud Selig's ass when he takes a dump. Okay? How is Bud Selig in the Hall of Fame and George Steinbrenner isn't? This guy allowed steroids, allowed everything to go on, and he gets away with it because Robbie Manfred was allowing this guy, and actually, as soon as Rob Manfred gets into the position to get his protege, Bud Selig was his, Rob Manfred was his protege. The fact is that this guy's in the Hall of Fame. George Steinbrenner is not in the Hall of Fame. Don Mattingly's not in the Hall of Fame. Makes no sense. Albert Bell should be in the Hall of Fame. Just absolutely pathetic. So
I just want to say, Errol, I agree with you. The writers missed on Jeff Kent. He should have been voted in when they had the chance in the first 10 years, right?
Yep.
But Mattingly should be in. Keith Hernandez should be in.
Yep.
They don't get them all right, and they don't get them within that 10-year period.
George Steinbrenner saved baseball. He saved baseball, and this guy's not in the Hall of Fame. But Bud Selig is, as the steroid era just magically happened. So it's just unbelievable. It's absolutely, I agree with you, Charlie. There's a lot of these guys, and what I don't understand, and what you're trying to come. By the way, Kyle Pitts had another touchdown. That's 3 touchdowns in a game.
So now they need now they need that. Here comes the 2-point conversion try you were talking about.
Yeah, well, now here's the that's the gamble you take.
But now it's to tie the game.
Well, I'm hoping they make it because I've got the Bucks kicker in my fantasy, and this is just prime time for kicker points if they tie it.
Because there's 3.5 minutes left.
I want to see Bucky Irvin time. That's what I want to see.
They're giving it to that Syracuse kid at the goal line. They're not giving it to Bucky at the goal line.
They didn't get it. They didn't get the 2.
Oh well. I guess I'm not getting any more kicker points.
Well, that means Bucky. Give it to Buck. Give it to the Buck.
Should be giving it to him right now.
They should be, but I don't know if that's going to happen. Anyways, that's it for our show. Thank you, Charlie, for joining us. You're sensational, as always. You did us a big, big favor, and I want you to start coming on more often. Right now, it's the off season, and like I said, you're a mentor of mine, a person that I look up to, and just the fact that you came on after having a nice dinner with Mr. Alley, old Alex, and I was listening to the show. Alex, I want to give a shout out to my boy. All the fans out there that tune into us, Spotify and Apple, we have been in the top 200 for the past week. So all the Spotify and Apple fans that tune in and download our product, we really appreciate you guys. All the YouTube fans, it was a big day on YouTube tonight, and all the guys and all the ladies tuning in and watching our show. We really appreciate you guys. Facebook, all of it, Instagram, Twitter, X, whatever you call it, Job in the Mouth, Rolo the Mouth 34. Thank you to all the fans out there, all the fans that tune in and really support what we do all around the country. We really appreciate you guys, and keep up the good work. My new mic, ladies and gentlemen, it's very sweet. Got a good sound to it, so thank you to the new mic as well. Anyways, and Jabba Chamberlain for popping in and popping up. We love you, Jabba. It was a really, really, really good show, and and Darryl Reed, we apologize. We'll get Darryl Reed on the show in the very near future. Speedy, who do we have on next week?
All right, so coincidentally, we had Charlie coming on tonight. We actually have
Charlie will come on next week.
We had on by the way, we are moving to Tuesday next week as well. Joining us at 8:45 is a guy that used to play with the Montreal Expos, former Expos, Cubs, Padres, and Blue Jays catcher Michael Barrett will be joining us on the show at 8:45. So shout out to the Lisa Ann lover for getting that one.
And on Thursday,
I
Java
love Leaf
confirmed with
fans.
me earlier today, we have Yankees reporter Brian Hoke will be coming on. Talk a little winter meetings as well.
Doo-doo. Ass liquor.
I also want to mention as well, congratulations to our friend Derek as well. Derek, him and his wife just had their first kid yesterday.
Hey, all right.
I wasn't invited to the wedding.
The Mountain Man.
The Mountain Man didn't invite me to his wedding. He didn't invite me to, be invited to that beautiful opportunity to see the baby for the first time. That sounds like
Dodger.
That's what it smells like. Anyways, thank you to Deb. By the way, give a shout out to the Mountain family for another grandchild, Steve, Mr. Steve Mountain, being a grandfather. Shout out to a very well-known person that I respect very well, my agent, Brian Mountain. He's an uncle, and he's a father too. So shout out to the Mountain family. We really appreciate all the work that they do behind the scenes for me and us. Anyways, that is it. It is wonderful. It is sweet. It is time to go. I am not singing a song. I just want to and maybe eat some food. So good night, farewell.